What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Mike and Ant. We're going to be giving you our Sunday and Monday game picks. We both started out 1-0 to start the week. We both had the Seahawks. You took the spread as well, right?
Yeah,
All right, yeah. So that game got a little tougher than expected at the end of it. But how's your day going, bro?
it's going pretty good. It's just been a chill day.
Yeah,
What's going on with you?
not much, man. Damn near fell asleep watching a little bit of wrestling. But other than that, my day is going pretty good. Let's dive right in, bro.
All right, so we start things off with the game in Ireland between the Vikings and the Steelers. This is going to be considered a Pittsburgh home game, even though they're playing the game in Ireland.
Yeah.
And for me, being on the West Coast, I got to wake up at the crack of dawn to watch this game. That's why I'm not excited about them possibly putting the Super Bowl in London because it would be tough to wake up at 5:30 in the morning to watch the Super Bowl.
For real.
But the Steelers, the Vikings are 2.5 point favorites in this game. Who do you got?
Yeah, I literally looked at this game like a coin flip. I honestly felt like I wanted to take the Steelers, but I went with the Vikings. I have more faith in the Vikings team. That I want to say the Steelers looked a lot better week one than they have looked 2 and 3. So I think the Vikings are gonna get them. That
Yeah, and I think. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and at home, this is. I know it's technically a home game, but this ain't no home game for them. There's
Nah, they're
gonna
playing
be
in
every
Ireland.
yeah, there's gonna be every team jersey in the field. I mean, in the stadium. So I guess that a home game, take that with a grain of salt in this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking Minnesota. A part of me feels like they're actually better with Carson Wentz than they were with JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
Carson Wentz gets to start again as McCarthy's still out. But I just think Minnesota's a better team. They got a better defense, and I think they pull this game. And I think obviously I think they covered the spread. It's only 2.5. I can see them winning by 3.
yeah, and I guess two big things I want to make sure I bring in. Jordan Addison's back this week, so we'll see how.
Yeah, back from suspension.
Yep, coming back from suspension, and I think I said this. Yeah, on one of the episodes. I know I said it. Mason might be better than Jones at this point. So it, I maybe not in the catching aspect of it, but just pure pounding the rock. He might have a little bit more in his tank than Aaron Jones does right now. So I kind of feel like Aaron Jones going down kind of probably made them more dangerous.
Yeah, I think Aaron Jones is still out with that injury.
Yep, he's on the IR.
Yeah. All right. So the next game will be Washington at Atlanta. Atlanta are 2 point favorites. Once again, Jaden Daniels will not play in this game. He's out with the knee injury, and then it gets worse. Terry McLaurin, he's out with I think a quad injury, so he's not gonna play in this game either. But I did say last week, when the Commanders played the Raiders, everybody was favoring the Raiders. Nobody thought the Commanders had a chance. And I said, don't sleep on Marcus Mariota.
Yeah,
This offense is actually built for him.
yeah,
If they had this offense in Tennessee about 10, 11 years ago, we might be talking about Marcus Mariota differently.
yeah.
And Marcus Mariota, he balled out last week against the Raiders. And it's the same thing. I know Terry McLaurin is out, but I still think Washington has enough to beat Atlanta in this game, or at least make it competitive. So I wouldn't surprise me if Washington wins, and I'm actually taking Washington to pull up the upset over Atlanta.
All right. Well, I'm assuming this game's in Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's the home team.
Yeah, and that's usually a 3 point spread. The fact it's a 2 point spread kind of tells you that they're not even sure. Um,
Yeah,
Atlanta looked good week one and towards the end of last year. The last couple of weeks they've looked really bad. I think Washington may not even have the better team even when everyone's there. They may not just overall have the better team because Atlanta I mean, they're loaded. They got a very good team, right? But Washington, I think, has the better structure, the better foundation. Mariota isn't. I forgot who said it. Mariota. Somebody said it on the thing the other day, and people thought he was crazy. It's not about the talent, but as far as what they're asked to do in this offense, it's not much of a downgrade because they can do similar things between Jaden Daniels and Mariota, right?
Yeah, that's why I said that. Excuse me. If people watched Mariota in college, or if
Yeah,
they remember him in college, like this is the offense they were running when he won the Heisman. No, so I don't think it's really that much of a drop off between the two quarterbacks. The only difference is, Mariota might be like 10 years older than Jaden Daniels.
yeah. But I just think that their structure is better. Even if you take McLaurin out of there, McLaurin hasn't really done much this year, anyways. I know he's taken coverages. You know what I'm saying? That's good, but
Yeah, but
it's
I mean, he missed all of training camp, so to me, this is his preseason.
yeah. But what I mean is, it just seems like their offenses ran through other directions, anyways, i-
Yeah,
not really in his direction as much. Um, they might have took so long getting that contract because they might have known they wasn't going to use the typical one how he was being used before, and they might have buyer's remorse right now, to be honest. And not
maybe.
because his talent, because on any other team he'd probably get 10 targets a game. But I think right now they're more focused on what they could do in the backfield, not just running back, but quarterback, tight end included, which Zach Ertz. And then I think when it comes to wide receiver, it's more Debo based right now. He's not their one, but as far as targets and how much he's gonna touch the ball, he's more like their one. So I don't think that they'll have a problem with this game. I think they win. Atlanta just hasn't looked good, to be honest. They got to
Yeah, I
show.
mean, they played well the first. I mean, yeah, to me, they played well the first two games. You could make a case they should have beat Tampa in week one. They blew out Minnesota in week two, but last week against Carolina, they didn't even show up.
Eh,
And then they benched Michael Penix, put in Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins didn't look any better. So he didn't really help his trade value in that game either.
Yeah, bottom line, they just as a whole don't look good, and they got
Uh,
good players all across the board, offense and defense.
and I know I know it's been some years now, but this could be a Dan Quinn revenge game because Atlanta they fired him after not immediately after they lost the Super Bowl, but a couple years after. 'Cause that team just never recovered the way they lost that Super Bowl.
Didn't
But this could
didn't
be a revenge
Mariota,
game for Dan Quinn.
didn't Mariota play for them for a brief stint as well?
Yeah, but I think that was under the coach before Raheem Morris. It wasn't for
No, I
Dan
know.
Quinn.
I just mean revenge for him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Because they brought him in. They brought him in to kind of replace Matt Ryan, but they only gave him 1 year.
yeah. So this might be his revenge game. I would that'd be my if I had to bet someone gets their revenge, it's probably him.
Well, no, his revenge should be y'all cut me for Desmond Ritter. Nobody even knows what Desmond Ritter is right now.
Yeah. So this might be his game.
All right, the next game is we have the New Orleans Saints at the Buffalo Bills. People are expecting this game to be a blowout. Buffalo is 14.5 point favorites. The Saints 0-3, Bills 3-0. What do you think about this game?
I don't got much to say about this game. I got the Bills covering.
That's the only question. To me, I think Buffalo wins this game. The only question about this game is, can the Saints cover?
Yeah, I think the Bills cover unless they bench all their starters early and give them some free points at the end. I think that's the only way they don't beat the spread.
Well, for the Saints to cover, they only have to lose by 14, just two touchdowns.
I don't. It's going to be a tough task trying to keep it under 20. So we'll just see how the game goes. I expect the Bills to cover this game.
And one of these weeks, Spencer Rattler's gonna have the best game of his life, and they're gonna
It's
fuck
not
around
happening.
and win.
Yeah, it could be this week, but I'm just not expecting it. Whoever calls that is a goat. Like I'm not. I know it probably will happen, but I'm never gonna predict it. So
And we'll see. Spencer Rattler playing with house money because he's not gonna be there next year. Everybody knows they're gonna drop the quarterback.
I'm thinking we're
But
looking at like a 37-14 type of game, something like
yeah,
that.
and they're on the road. I think I feel more comfortable if New Orleans is at home, but
Yeah,
Buffalo being at home. All
it's
right.
good.
I don't have much to say about that game either, but we'll move on. Both of us got the Bills. The next game with the Cleveland Browns at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are 10 point favorites at home. Cleveland, though, even though they're 1-2, they do have the number one defense in the NFL.
Yeah,
Their problem is offensively, they can't get nothing going.
yeah.
And I don't know, I still don't know how they beat Green Bay last week. They scored 13 points in the final 3 minutes to win that game 13-10. And then the Lions, after everybody panicked in week one about how terrible they look against Green Bay, they've balled out the last 2 weeks, blowing out Chicago, and then they pretty much dominated, especially in that second half against Baltimore. So the Lions are 2-1. My pick is I think Detroit wins this game, but I think with Cleveland's defense, they can cover the 10 points.
I'm gonna go on a cliff here, and golf and these boys better not steer me wrong. I think right now, if the Lions was playing the Packers, I think it'd be a different game. I think the Packers caught them half asleep week one. I don't
Yeah.
think they're better than the Lions. And we just watched how easily the Lions pound. I know the Ravens ain't the Ravens of old when it comes to defense, but the way them boys was pounding the rock, Lord have mercy.
It's like
I
pick
got
your poison. Who you want, Gibbs or Montgomery?
Yeah, I got them covering the spread. I think the
Even against number one defense?
Lions this week is their get right game to show you we're not the Packers. I mean, it's all right. We lost week one. They lost 13-10. I'm looking at like a 27, maybe 17, maybe a tie. What's the spread? 10 points?
Yeah, Lions are 10-point favorites.
I'd say it's possible a tie, but I got the Lions winning by at least 10 points. If I had to avoid a game, this might be it. Not because I expect the Ravens to cover, but because I'd be
You
worried
mean the
about.
Lions?
Yeah, I'd pay for a half a point, which means that either 9.5 would be an easy bet, I think, for the Lions. If it was 10.5, it's a rough situation. I might go Browns, but I think sticking at 10, if I gotta pick the spread, I'd take the Lions to cover. I think
See, I think for the Browns to cover, I think the Browns could cover because of their defense. Their defense will keep them in this game.
yeah.
But if it's like the Baltimore game where Joe Flacco was just turning the ball over left and right, then yeah, the Lions could easily blow them out, just like Baltimore blew them
Well,
out.
the thing is this, right? Week one, the I'd say nobody knew what to expect for the Lions going into week two because there was still all that Ben Johnson BS going on. Uh,
Yeah.
and the offense just looked bad, right? Looking at their offense and looking at Green Bay's offense, some people just got to get realistic here. I don't care how much you hype up Jordan Love. He's not a better player than Jared Goff right now. So let's just get the quarterback thing off the map. There's no statistical category, not anything, not playoff games won, not anything that could tell you Jordan Love is better than Jared Goff. So I think the Lions have the better quarterback. Coach,
Well, I mean, people. Oh, sorry, my bad. I was just saying people are still picking the Packers to go to the Super Bowl just because they added Micah.
yeah, that's fine. And I think that week one they came out with a lot of gas, and now week three you realize they're not really a Super Bowl contender. But with that being said, coach, that's up for debate. You know who? I guess they both similar. Maybe even might go LaFleur here, but I guess it's really like a coin flip who you go with, right? Running
Well,
back,
you can make a case for both. I think for like
yeah,
X and O's, maybe Lafleur,
yeah.
but for like motivation, it got to be Campbell.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's kind of like pick your poison. Who do you like more? Right? It's not really like you can argue for both, but it's not like you have a solid thing that's gonna tell you this one's better than that one. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
pick your poison. Running backs, it's not fair. Gibbs is better than Jacobs. At this point, Montgomery might be as good as Jacobs. Well, at least in this offense, he looks just as good as him. So you're going 2-for-1. Lions backfield's better. Wide receivers, it's not fair. Like the Packers don't have an authentic wide receiver one on their team. The Lions have St. Brown, and they have, I mean, depending on how you feel about Jameson Williams, he still could blow the top off your defense, right? He's a
He's a
burner.
solid number two.
He's a solid number two. You got paid for that, right? And then you got Laporta. The offense don't have any position on not O line neither. We could bring that up too. Lions arguably have the best O-line in football. Now, and that's debatable, but it's a good argument, right? Not one thing outside of coach do the Packers have a debate against the Lions on offense, in my opinion. Now on
Well,
defense, go ahead.
as defensively, Green Bay is second in defense.
That's cool. But did you see Hutchinson start coming alive the other day?
Yeah, against Baltimore.
All right. So end of the day, remember he just snapped his leg in half. So if you think that this Lions defense that you see right now will be what they'll look like at the end of the year, I doubt it. I would say that their defenses will be I they're still a team defense. Like they'll still probably be 13, 14, 15. I don't expect Packers to actually have a top 5 defense at the end of the year. I think it's probably more like 6, 7-ish, right? So I'd say the defense comparison at the end of the year we'll check these. Remember this. Packers will be somewhere between maybe 5, most likely in between 5 to 8 on defense. Lions, I would say somewhere 13 to 17, right? I think that gap will be closer than what the Lions offense and the Packers offense will actually look like at the end of the year. The Lions will have a top scoring offense. The Packers look like they need to get it together. They got injuries all over the place. They got no true one. They got a tight end that's overproducing, and they got a stud running back. That's cool, but I guess it comes down to, do you buy into Jordan Love being like a top 8, 9 quarterback? I don't. So
It also doesn't help that a lot of their receivers are hurt.
yeah, but even when they wasn't hurt, which one of these guys you think pushes fear or puts fear into a number one cornerback?
None of them.
They don't have no name over there that a number one cornerback can even name. Like when you have someone like, and this, I ain't just say, for example, you have a top 5 cornerback and he's looking through his matchups, he skips by your team because he's not even thinking about a good matchup he has in that game. He's like, oh, I got Devontae Adams here. Oh, I'm around St. Brown. I got, this guy over here. Oh, I don't even know who's on the Packers. I'll worry about that when I get there. Don't matter really. You see what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like the Lions, you line up over there, you overcommit on the wide receivers, Laporta will kill you. If you load the box, they'll beat you deep. If you cover over the top and you don't load that box, they could just run you into the dirt. So I just don't see that capability with the Packers. I do understand they beat them. I don't think they'll beat them the second time around, or the third for that matter.
Yeah, I can see the Lions getting them. I think they play again at Thanksgiving.
Hmm. I think the Lions will beat them the next game. And if they somehow run into each other in the playoffs, I don't think that'll be a matchup that scares the Lions.
All right. Well, we both got the Lions beating the Browns. We'll move on to the next game. We have it's a battle of two 0-3 teams: the Tennessee Titans at the it's not the Houston Oilers, at the Houston Texans. Houston actually is 7-point favorites, which surprised me that the point spread was that high because Houston offensively has been asked the first 3 games. I don't think they've scored up to 20 yet. And Tennessee, for all their faults, they do have a pretty decent defense. So I thought the 7 points was too high, and I got Tennessee actually covering. So I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I think Houston will win by Tennessee covering.
Yeah, I agree with you on both of them. Somebody got to win here. That's
I mean, unless it's a tie.
hopefully not. But guess it just comes down to the Titans. I think I trust more. I think so. Both their defenses are all right. I just think Stroud will be able to do a little bit more. Cam Ward will probably make a few rookie mistakes. I mean, which is not anything out the ordinary for a young player on a bad team. So it isn't all just on him. I don't even know who his top receiver is. So that's
I think it's Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett can't be that one. I mean, that's like if
Oh no,
he,
no, I forgot Calvin Ridley's on that team.
yeah, well, yeah, I guess minus Ridley. I'll give Ridley his love. Ridley's okay. Lockett, I don't know. And then they got a young kid I've been seeing. Looks like he's getting the most targets. He has a long name. I ain't even gonna try botching it. But if you look on their team on Tennessee, you'll see it. Um, I don't know. I just at this point you just gotta think who you think is worse. I believe the Titans are a worse team than the Texans. So and I think right now Stroud's probably more trusted at the QB position. Definitely not covering no 7 points, but I got them winning.
So you're like me. You think Tennessee will cover?
It'd be like 16-13. This is gonna be a terrible game, bro.
Yeah, I see. That's what I'm saying because I don't think Texas could be able to score that much. I could see it being like a 13-10, 16-13 type of ball game, like you said.
And I think these defenses know how each other play. So I'm looking at like a real ugly game, maybe 19-16, 16-13, something like that.
Yeah, I can see that too. And yeah, the receiver you're talking about, he's a rookie from the University of Stanford, but I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name either.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? There's
Yeah,
no way. I gotta hear them say it to even attempt it, and I don't even know if they're gonna say it right.
yeah, he's actually from Canada.
Yeah, he looks all right, but I mean, when your number one receiver, well, when the guy doing the best in your team came out of nowhere, that tells you that you ain't got much of a receiver. It doesn't not a knock on him because he looked like he's pretty good, but you don't get to the top like that,
Yeah,
without
the only thing I'll say is that since both him and Cam Ward are rookies, they probably played together the most
yeah,
because I'm pretty sure Cam Ward worked with them during like rookie mini camps,
yeah,
training camps, and all that preseason.
I agree.
But yeah, you're right though. If that's your best receiver right now, then you got a problem.
Yeah, it means Ridley's being overpaid. And Lockett, I
Yeah,
haven't even heard his name. I literally forgot he went there till you just reminded me.
yeah. He was
So
like their top free agent signing.
yeah, I guess.
All right. So you have him covering or you don't have him
Hell
covering?
no, I don't got them covering. I
All right,
got the
yeah.
Titans covering. I got the Titans covering.
That's what I mean. The Titans, because
But
they're
yeah, I
they're
got them.
+7.
Yep, I got them. I got them losing the game but covering.
All right, yeah, same here. All right, we'll move on to your neck of the woods. We have the 1-2 Carolina Panthers versus the 1-2 New England Patriots. New England is at home in this game, and they are 5.5 point favorites. For Carolina, I don't even know what we're gonna get. They were terrible the first two games, and all of a sudden, last week they looked like Super Bowl contenders. I don't understand. And then for New England, I mean they've looked all right this season. They played bad in week one against the Raiders. They were okay against Miami, and then they were okay against Pittsburgh. They just couldn't stop. They just couldn't stop turning the ball over. That's what killed them in that game.
Yeah,
But New England's 5.5 point favorites. What do you think about this game
I
and who
got
you got?
I got the Patriots winning and covering. I think that we're gonna see the terrible Panthers show up. I last week I think it may just be an outlier, one of those things where they know the team. It's a division game. They got to jump on them. I don't see that happening in New England. And I also don't see New England fumbling the ball that many times in one game. So I think they could win by at least 6.
Yeah, I mean, I I agree with you. I'm taking New England to win. I think New England covers. For Carolina, when are we going to see Bryce Young step up and improve? I was expecting him to start this season the way he ended last season, but
Mhm.
instead he's starting this season the way he started last season, which got him benched. And it's like, do they got to bench him again for him to start playing well? Like, I don't like what's going on with him.
Yeah, I don't know if they adjusted anything, but they need to get back to what they was doing last year because they just seemed like they got away from what was working. Maybe they found it last week, but I don't see it this week. They're gonna have to prove me wrong.
But we'll see if they could do it. But we both got the Patriots, and we got the Patriots covering a 5.5 point spread. Now for the game that everybody's been talking about this week, that is the Los Angeles Chargers 3-0 at the 0-3 New York Giants. Jackson Dart will get his first start of the season. The Giants are 6.5 point favorites. Obviously, the storyline in this game is all about Jackson Dart. The
Did
Giants
you say the
benching Russell
Giants?
Wilson.
You said the Giants are favorites?
No, my bad. The Chargers are 6.5
I,
point
I
favorites.
was about to say, holy shit! Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa! They
my bad. I misspoke. Yeah, the Chargers 6.5 point favorites. But the top stories though: Jackson Dart getting his first start. Russell Wilson got benched after looking terrible against the Chiefs. I mean, he was just awful.
yeah.
And the New York fans, they booed him. They let him know it too, and they were chanting for Dart. So they get their wish this week. And what's your thoughts? A lot of people, the Chargers too, looking like the best team in the AFC so far. What's your thoughts on this game?
I have a few thoughts, and then I have a bold prediction in this game. Now, the spread is what?
6.5.
This is your best bet of the week right here. The Los Angeles Chargers. However you want to do it. Obviously, money line ain't gonna give you the right amount of juice, but depending on the over, I'm taking the Chargers to literally smack these dudes all around the turf, blow them out, and I'm gonna give you a few reasons why. A, it's a rookie's first game, so you know they're sending the steam. You know they sending all types of exotic packages, blitzes. That they're gonna how they do with rookies, right? I expect Doc to get hit. I do think he's gonna be good in the long run, but this game, I expect him to be hit. I expect a fumble. I expect some turnovers through the air. Um, I expect a lot of stuff to go bad. Now, that's just because the Chargers just look like they may be the best team, one of the best teams in football right now, right? The Giants look like they may be one of the worst. So that's the obvious takes, right? Now, to my bold prediction. And part of this, I don't know if it was bait, but I gotta say if it wasn't, I seen somebody show that Jackson Dot posted a picture of Justin Herbert's girl and then deleted it. And was
Oh,
talking
I didn't see that.
Herbert 4 or 5 touchdowns. I'll go with 4, right? 400 and plus yards. He's in your ass. Pause, right? You're not on that level to piss off one of the best players in the NFL. So that's probably why someone told him to delete it. Like, bro, you already getting ahead of your britches. This boy gonna come out here swinging now. So I'm expecting big numbers. I'm also expecting the Chargers to run it up on them over that. It's like, all right, we're just gonna be disrespectful. I don't expect them. So I expect if he can throw for 5, 6 touchdowns, 500 yards, it may happen. Dot's gonna learn a big lesson tomorrow, and it's not gonna go well for him. I don't think this would be, a sign of what's to come in his future. I just think he bit off more than he can chew, not just with Herbert, but your team doesn't have enough to compete this game. It doesn't. And it probably would have competed more with Russell Wilson just because they wouldn't be able to trick him with so many exotic packages. And I think it comes down to what Nabis said that the other day and last year. It's not the quarterback. He's telling you it's the coaching. Like these players are garbage. So you can put, whoever you want in there at quarterback. It's kind of like when Gurley and them was calling out Fisher because he had a high school offense. No quarterback's gonna succeed when you're playing a high school offense in the pros and they're looking at you laughing like he's gonna go right. Oh, there he goes. You know what I'm saying? It's like so that's my issue, and I think that the Giants are gonna get this would be the blowout that the one absolute blowout of the week, and that would be a big part of why they get blown out.
Well, okay. So before I give you my thoughts, you talked about the coaching. We all know Brian Daboll, the Giants head coach, is on the hot seat.
He's fine.
So obviously nobody's expecting the Giants to make the playoffs. But what do you think he has to do to keep his job?
Let's see. What are they looking at right now? 14 more games?
Yeah, and we talked about it when we went over the schedule. The Giants have the hardest schedule in the NFL.
Here's
So
the thing.
even before they even drafted Dart, we said that they can easily go 0-8 to start the season.
I'm gonna be nice, and I'm not sure if this will save his job. But if this doesn't save his job, he's gonna get fired anyways, right? He has to split those games.
So
That
that means they gotta finish the season 7-10.
That's minimum. Like if 7 don't save your job, I don't think 10 will neither. Think they'll be ready to move on because their number one superstar is basically pushing you out the door. So that's the part where it's like it's gonna be tough. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
7 games might save his job. If 7 don't, I don't think 9 or 10 will neither. So win half your games or go. I mean, he's probably a better coordinator than a coach, anyways. Just like a lot of other guys that just failed in this position. So I mean, I'm sure he'll get another job, but he's his job in New York has been atrocious, and that's being nice.
Yeah, with the exception of that first year where they made the playoffs.
Yeah, but I mean, you talk about with Daniel Jones, right?
Yeah.
It all started with not giving Barkley his contract. That's what it all started, and it's not his fault. Not his fault.
You better say like that's the GM's fault.
Yeah, but this is where it all started because when Barkley didn't get the contract, they overpaid for Daniel Jones. I think had they had paid Barkley, I think that they could have rode the Daniel Jones train a couple more years, and he would have cost himself money, not them money. So I think they should have played the franchise tag game with him and gave Barkley the money. Like,
Yeah, I agree. And I said that at the time it happened. Like Daniel Jones had one good year. Y'all made the playoffs, cool. But I would have just franchise tagged him and make him prove that he could do it again.
yeah, I would have franchised him 2 more years because more than likely one of those years, maybe both of them, you realize he's not worth it. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So in Barkley, I mean, I don't know how that was a question. You should have. I mean, even 3, 4 years older now, I think that the Eagles gave him almost 20 million a year. I think he wanted like 15 from them or something. So it's like I don't know what they was thinking exactly. It was just they had their head up their ass and that you don't pay running back way of thinking. But if you look at it, the running backs crept back up. Kyron Williams is getting like 13, 14 a year. You
Well,
know?
yeah, I think they made the same mistake the Titans made with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't pay running backs, so we just let them go. We let them walk.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. So, like, if you look slowly, like these dudes was complaining about paying Barkley in his prime, 15, 16 million, right? That's what James Cook and Kyron Williams get right now.
Yeah,
Like,
so imagine 4 years from now when they got to pay Scatterbo
this is
what he's
what
gonna
I'm
be
trying to
asking.
tell you. So basically, there's gonna be a point where you're paying someone 17, 18 million dollars, and your fan base is like, this ain't Barkley. Why you didn't give him, the $80 million, 60 guaranteed, whatever he wanted? Like now you have to pay it anyways for someone that's serviceable. You gotta
Now, I
get
like I like what I've seen from Scatterbo so far, though.
no Scatterbo is gonna be a good player. But what I mean is this. At no point in his career, and I'm confident saying this, will he ever be the caliber player of Saquon Barkley. He's just not born with those traits. He doesn't have
No, and their games are different.
yeah, he doesn't have he's more like he's your old school brawler. But
Yeah,
the
he reminds me of Mike Allstar back in the day.
yeah, and you better hope he has Mike Allstar's longevity because he also reminds me of someone else who maybe didn't last that long, which is a Peyton Hillis. Like he
Yeah,
reminds
those big physical
And
backs.
Peyton Hillis looked like he was an animal for a couple of years, maybe 2 years. Got the Madden cover, and then I don't know what happened. And he was like released within the next year. But
Yeah, that Madden curse. That's what happened.
well, no, these are guys that really thrive on contact. So sometimes they could do it for a long time. Sometimes it doesn't work that good. Like Barkley is speed, agility. He got power, but Barkley isn't looking to lower the shoulder if he could drop you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Some of these guys just want that contact, and that's why you gotta understand that type of career might not last as long. Not everybody's Derrick Henry.
yeah. Well, for the Giants anyway, the writing was on the wall to me for Russell Wilson.
Oh, for sure.
Watching that game last week against Kansas City, there was two things that happened in that game that I knew like okay, he's probably get benched after this.
Yeah.
He that I think the score was like 22-9. They were in the red zone. It was like maybe like third and goal, and for whatever reason, he decides to throw the ball into the first row. And like me watching on TV and even the commentators, like, what is Russell Wilson thinking? Like, what is he doing? And there was also some plays too where like, he wants to scramble around, but he ain't got the speed anymore. I think mentally he still thinks he's 27, not realizing that he's 37 and he's not outrunning anybody anymore. So him scrambling around and losing 10, 15 yards, like that's just not your game anymore.
Let,
You gotta evolve and like either get rid of the ball or just take the sack.
well, let me give you one thing, and you tell me if I'm right, because this kind of what I'm saying. I could be wrong. I only really watch Russell Wilson games when they played the Rams, or
Yeah.
if it's something on TV, or Red Zone shit like that. But I'm not like, so I'm not saying I've glued and watched all 40 of his passes in every game, but what I've seen in the small things I've seen from this year, last year in Denver, um, no, well, the
Pittsburgh.
last Denver, right? But I think was he there 2 years?
2 years in Denver, 1 year in Pittsburgh, now 1 year in New York.
That's what it is. It's the Pittsburgh thing because he had one decent year in Denver and one terrible year. He had numbers wise, anyways. The Pittsburgh, um, that didn't work. I would have stuck with Fields, and then this hasn't worked, right? But just say the brief things I've seen on all these other teams, he doesn't look much different, and I not from honestly like it's not like he's. I know in Seattle he used to get some long runs, and I know you could tell he's a little bit slower. Like I know that, but I think if you go back to that Seattle tape, he always had trouble with outs. He's always been a good deep ball passer. Um, I think Pete Carroll hit a lot of that. Like, just give you an example, right? I think if Geno Smith has another two terrible games, right? In the Raiders, Pete Carroll, that is, decides get me Russell Wilson, I think he'll look the same. And I bear with me. I think he knows very well what Russell can do, what he can't do. He grew with him. He was with him from the first year of his career till the last time we seen him good, right? Um,
I mean, his
everybody,
last year in Seattle, he was not that good.
yeah, but this is his last 2 years. He wasn't. But remember, everybody got on that let Russ cook movement,
Yeah,
and
because
I
they
feel
thought
like
Pete Carroll was holding them back.
yeah, and I feel like he kind of let you expose yourself and whatever's that, right?
Yeah.
But I think that if Russell was with Pete Carroll and he gets back to that game plan and realizing he's not Tom Brady, you're more a product of Pete Carroll than Tom Brady is of Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick got out from under that umbrella. Tom Brady still was able to go win. Belichick's having more trouble without Brady than Brady's having without him. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that Pete Carroll and Russell is just a marriage. He knows what you can do, knows what you can't do. I still think Russell has a little bit of speed. I still think he has a great deep ball, but I don't know about accuracy, but he has a good deep ball. I seen him throw a couple intermediate passes. There was the pass up the middle of the field. I'm not gonna be able to remember who he hit with this pass, but going down the middle of the field. Like he caught like it was like a 20 yard maybe post, but in the middle of the field, or maybe just a deep slant. And he zinged it in between 3, 4 people. That throw right there told me he still could throw. You see what I'm saying? I think it's just more about hiding the things he can't do. Because, like I said, if you look at him in Seattle and you look at him now, I don't know if I see this great big drop off. I never thought he was that spectacular in Seattle. I thought he was like a real good game manager that had a little bit of special qualities, but I didn't think he was like ever this like, you know, top 10 quarterback like that. So I just don't see much difference. I just think that coaching was everything for him and he doesn't have it no more.
Well, I mean, that could be the case. But then the second thing too that I knew Russ was in trouble as far as keeping his job was that all the Giants players couldn't stop talking about how great Jackson Dart looks in practice and how he just lightened it up and how they like his confidence and his swag. And once players start talking about the backup quarterback that way, you pretty much lost the locker room as the starter.
But do you
And so
think
I
that
knew the writing was on the wall from Russ at that
do you
point
think
too.
that's design game plan from the higher ups?
Well, to
Because
have the players talk so good about Jackson Dart.
what I'm saying is this, right? Your number one player has spoke out twice, and he ain't talking about the quarterbacks. He wasn't talking about Jameis Winston last year. He's not talking about Russell Wilson this year.
Oh,
They're
you mean Daniel Jones?
Yeah, excuse me, Daniel Jones. Yes. So when your number one number one wide receiver is telling you it's not the quarterback, and the question applies to look at Daniel Jones now, and he's telling you, look, I told you last year it wasn't the quarterback, just like I'm telling you right now it's not the quarterback. It's the coach. He's telling you, so that he's the main guy you got to get the ball. He's the one that's going to be pulling you for $200 million in a couple of years. He probably has more control over that team than Dayball right now. Fair to say?
Yeah, even though it's only his second year, but yeah, it's fair to say that.
So all I'm saying is this, right? I don't think they let another Odell, someone with the Odell potential, walk out the door again. Bro, he's if he's telling you, like, the thing is this, I don't think they'll go back to Russell because Dot was drafted for this. But what I'm telling you is, I think that they've already pulled Neighbors to the side and probably was like, bro, we know it's not the coaching. Ride out with the youngster. Let's build his confidence up and let's just try to get through the year. You see what I'm saying? I just
Yeah.
don't, I just don't see and that's what I mean. Not like they're lying that Dot looks good, but it's about he's the future. So let's just try to ride this wave for the year, and I'll get you a coach in here.
Well, I will say this about the Giants, and
Yeah,
that is that their future does look bright. If Dart becomes what they think he could become,
yeah.
and you add him with Neighbors, who's only in his second year, so he's only 1 year older than Dart, Scatterbo, they could have their own version of the triplets if it
Yeah,
works
it
out.
sucks that a couple of their pieces on defense are getting older, but their D line right now is stacked, bro. Like
Yeah,
they
with
got
Lawrence, Burns, Carter, and
yeah,
Thibodeau.
yeah. I'm Abdul Carter, Burns. They got what is there's another one we're missing too, Thibodeau.
Yeah,
Like, yo,
Thibodeau,
bro, they're so loaded over there.
Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like, we're missing people they got is how loaded they are. So I think that's where somebody like Neighbors is trying to tell you, bro. He's looking at his team and saying, Jesus, my
Yeah, we
Lord.
got to get a better coach.
Like, imagine I could do a stutter step and do a different route than a slant. You see what I'm saying? It's like, so that's that's the problem with them. I think it is inevitable to get Dot in there, but you need to get an offensive minded coach in there. I mean, I'm sure there's a guy falling off the McVay tree at the end of the
Well,
year.
the irony though is that Dable's an offensive minded coach, and he got the job because everybody gave him credit for what he did with Josh Allen. Even though Josh Allen, you can make the argument he's been better without Dayball than he was when Dayball was there.
Bro, you can't. I hate this, man. I gotta clip this Tom Brady thing because what I want us to break this down because it's the best way I've ever seen anybody break down these situations. And it's Tom Brady's. That's why it holds weight, right? You're
Yeah,
just breaking down these young quarterbacks and these best, top tier quarterbacks versus, 1 through 32. What makes you top versus bottom? And he was like, the thing nobody talks about is this: your quarterback, you could be ranked 1 through 7, 7 through 32. What is your offensive coordinator and your quarterback coach ranked? Right? Because these are the guys that are there to train you to get you up to par, right? So he's saying, what if you're actually the fourth best quarterback in the NFL, but your quarterback coach is the 32nd out of 32, and your offensive coordinator is 29 out of 32. You see what I'm saying, bro? Josh Allen
that
was
would
he was dragging him. He was
Yeah.
dragging him. That's my thing. Like if Josh Allen had a top 5 offensive mind with him, I know Buffalo Bills fans do not want to hear this. You would have already had a ring. It already would have came.
Yeah.
That's why you haven't won one. And I'm not saying it sucks to rip up a coach that's getting you right there, but the problem is you have a coach that's good at coaching offense and you have a quarterback that's ready to go to the moon. You don't need a guy that's good. You need a guy that's transcendent. You see what I'm saying? Like you need someone to come in there that could level up Josh Allen, not a coach that Josh Allen makes better. Like you need someone to make Josh Allen better. And if you did that, and it's not just him, because he's got better every year, I think. He's had, I think, a down year, but he's been better every year, won the MVP last year. And this is what it comes down to with Dragon. And this is why it holds weight when it was coming from Tom Brady and why I want to go over that, right? Outside of Stephon Diggs, what wide receivers are you giving this kid? What tight ends? You think Kincaid's really that great? Dawson Knox, are they that special? And the
Well,
bottom,
that's why he won the MVP last year because he put up all those numbers and he really doesn't have a number one.
and this is my thing, what I'm telling you now. Brady, you think he doesn't know when he's talking about surrounding these kids with the right stuff? He won more Super Bowls with less than anybody, right?
Yeah.
Had he had stuff, he probably would have had a LeBron James run where he went to 10 in a row, right? He overachieved. So when you're looking at someone like that and you see someone that's all worldly, some of these coaches do it wrong. It's like, yo, because you got Lamar Jackson and because you got Josh Allen, you feel like you don't have to give them as much. Shouldn't you feel like you want to give them more? Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, bro, you got a all worldly athlete. Like, don't you want to give him a T. Higgins and a Jamar Chase? Like, you don't want to do that? Like, look at the numbers Burrow puts up. And it's not about just winning games because the Bengals ain't giving them shit else, but they gave their quarterback what he wants. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you got to have some type of balance. Like, some of these teams, they're just not giving the people enough to win. Like, really, like Geno's going through it right now. Um, I won't get too ahead, but there's a bunch of quarterbacks in the NFL right now not given enough to compete. And I don't know if it's to tank on purpose or what it is, but there's a lot of them that don't have anything. Maybe a good player here or there.
Yeah, and that Tom Brady quote's the reason why I always say that Bill Belichick hurt Mac Jones's development when he hired Matt Patricia to be his offensive coordinator.
Yep, and I think that's what Brady was getting at. He knew what he
Yeah,
was talking about.
like Matt Patricia has been a DC his whole life. Why would you all of a sudden make him be offensive coordinator? Like you wouldn't hire Sean McVay to be a defensive
I
coordinator.
think he
So,
brought people around him, and this is the thing just coming from being out here. What I think, he was getting pushed out that building, right? And he wanted to be around people that he knew had his back. So he brought in his boys. Even though it didn't seem like some of them was right for those positions, he just brought in the most loyal people to him and kind of fit roles to them. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it kind of just fell apart the way it did.
well, back to the game because we kind
Yeah.
of got sidetracked. So I'm going to disagree with you. Actually, I have the Chargers winning, but I think the Giants cover the 6.5, and
You got
only because
good.
historically, for whatever reason, the Chargers they always struggle playing those 1 o'clock Eastern games because being out here in the West Coast, that's 10 o'clock in the morning for us, and this is games gonna be at 1 o'clock Eastern. So I'm just basing off history where the Chargers struggle
Yeah.
on those 1 o'clock window games, and I think that's why it's gonna be a lot closer than what you think, and I think the Giants actually cover the 6.5.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. I thought I was bouncing back either way till I seen the picture of Herbert's
Of
girlfriend.
his
I was like,
girl.
"Oh, you in trouble, boy." It's like this is your welcome to the NFL moment.
Yeah, and I will say this too: the Giants' defense. We're just talking about that D line. With the exception of the Cowboys game, they've actually looked pretty good this year.
Oh
They
no,
played well in the
yeah,
first Commanders. They played well enough against Kansas City. So I mean, don't sleep on their defense either. So far, they've had that one bad game where Dallas just lit them up.
You know what? I just say this one thing about the Giants. If you fired their whole staff, not no players, just left their
Just the
team
coaches.
same exactly how it is, and you fired their whole staff, I don't even know if I'd fire their GM because I feel like he's drafted some really good players. So I don't know if I'm against keeping GMs that draft really well. You just kind of got to keep them in their lane. But I think if you fired all them coaches, right, and you just say, for example, you sent the Rams whole coaching staff over there, they have a winning team. They
Not only would they have a winning team, I'll pick the Giants to go to the Super Bowl.
I'm saying they got I looked at their team before the season and it was hard thinking they was gonna stink again, but Dayball is the reason what makes you just I just don't see it changing anytime soon.
Like honestly, they were bad last year, and I don't know what the NFL was thinking, giving them the hardest schedule.
And maybe they did it just by looking at their roster, because I feel you, they look really good. They look really good. So
Yeah, but the schedule ain't doing them no favors.
did them none.
But yeah, so we'll move on. The next one is Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Both teams are 3-0. Uh, Philly, they had that huge comeback win last week against our Rams, even though I thought it was some BS what happened in that game. And then Tampa Bay, they're 3-0. They easily could be 0-3. They're the first team in NFL history to win their first three games on no comebacks. No, so the last possession of the game.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on this game? Eagles, Bucks,
What's the spread?
Tampa. Oh yeah, my bad. In the spread, my bad. Philly is 3.5 point favorites,
All
even
right.
though Tampa Bay's at home.
Well, um, yeah, I gotta go with the Eagles here. I thought about Tampa for a second, but I think the Eagles will overwhelm them, and I believe Mike Evans is out. Godwin may be back.
Yeah, Evans is out for the next 4 weeks with a
Yeah,
hamstring.
Godwin may be back though, so that may be a little boost. But I don't see it being enough versus the Eagles. I like you said, I don't think Tampa is really a strong 3-0 team, even though I do believe they're pretty good. And Baker's been playing out his mind for like his last 15 to 20 games, not even just this year. Um, as far as the spread, it's a tough one because I could see them winning by 3. I could also see them winning by more. I guess at the end of the day with this game, I'm leaning towards the Eagles covering the spread because I'm pretty sure they win the game. I don't know if I want to be chasing 1 point if and think they win by 2. I just rather lean towards they win by 4 or more. So I'll take them covering here. But it's a tough game. This I could see it going either way. It's one of the tougher games of the week.
I think Philly will win. I think for Tampa Bay, losing Mike Evans last week is going to hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Godwin might come back, but he's coming off of an ACL, so we don't even know if he's going to be 100%.
Oh, he's gonna be
And
on
then,
sure.
huh?
He's gonna be on the snap count for sure. I already
Oh
read it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, they do have in Big Bud. He looks pretty good. I'm not a Big Bud, but was Buka.
Yeah, Buka. He's a stud
Yeah,
for sure.
so he looks good. I think Tampa Bay though they could cover the 3.5 because Philly so far hasn't blown anybody out.
Yeah.
Even though they're 3-0, but they've all been close games. Dallas was a close game. Kansas City was a close game, and then last week was a close game. So I think Tampa could cover, but I agree with you. I think Philly will win, and I think the injury, especially to their wide receivers, is going to be the reason why.
Yeah, reason why I leaned towards them covering, because I know that the Eagles they made a cut. I mean, they beat us definitively. I didn't like a few of the things, but the fact you came back like that, you got that. I'll leave it at that. The Cowboys game, I don't know. I feel like that could have went either way. They could have blew that game, but I just feel like when it comes down to them, they're gonna beat the teams they supposed to beat, and I don't think Tampa's as good as their record. So I think like you hit it on the money. I think Tampa could have easily been 0-3, 1-2, 2-1. I just think this is going to be the game where they're going to make a couple mistakes they won't be able to overcome. But I
Well,
wouldn't.
all three of their games have, came down to the last second. So they're winning like by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, I mean Baker's been proven he got it. I know the Browns are throwing stuff, breaking TVs every time he catches. I mean, every time he throws a first down.
Oh, did you hear what the owner, the wife, the Texans owner's wife? She did a like a some type of podcast in Houston or radio show, but she thanked the Browns for taking Deshaun Watson off their hands.
Oh hell yeah, I feel it. Straight gangster. Say yep, take him. Lord have mercy.
All right. So this is the game we're going to be watching, paying close attention to. We have the Indianapolis Colts at the LA Rams. Colts are 3-0, Rams are 2-1. We just talked about the Rams how they lost that heartbreak last week against Philly. And me and you, we get close and personal to Carly because we're gonna be seeing a lot of her on our TV this week.
Hopefully,
But
stay.
yeah, the Colts are 3-0. She's done a great job so far at game planning. So what's your thoughts on this game, Rams Colts? And also too before I forget, Cam Brenham of the Colts, he was talking some shit saying that
Seen
the
it.
Rams they pump in crowd noise because we ain't got no fans.
Even though somebody came over the top and said, explain how come they haven't got fined and showed the NFL rules.
Yeah,
Pump crowd noise because y'all get fined. But I mean, you can't blame the idiots that fall for shit like that. But off of that, this is going to be a real tough game for both teams. I mean, for anybody on our end that thinks this is going to be an easy game, I'm going to let you know the two things we have trouble with. Great runners, even though we shut down Barkley like I said we would last week, right? But
oh, sorry to cut you off. I'm not sure if I said this. The Rams are 3.5 point favorites.
yeah, yep. But um, so we have trouble with good running backs typically. Just going looking at last year, not
Yeah,
really so much this year, but just say overall, right? And we have trouble with scrambling quarterbacks. The Colts just happen to have both, right? The third thing we struggle with, especially with the Kello not out there, not that he's all worldly great anyways, but he is a pretty good corner. Um, Height, which is why AJ Brown killed us last week. A lot of those passes weren't necessarily precision passes. It was just he just mossed the guy. You know, it's like just bodied him, kept you on one side. The ball just got to be in an area. Now, Michael Pittman don't have say the maybe the weight, but he does have the size. So they got the big body receiver, they got a tall receiver, they got the great running back, and they got a mobile quarterback. It's going to be a difficult game especially if we can't contain Jonathan Taylor. I'm gonna go with the Rams winning. I do not got us beating that spread. And please, by the grace of God, have someone on field goal kicks that understands they have to block after they throw the ball back. Like, I don't know how that got exposed 2 times in a row and cost us a game last week. Obviously, there was other things, but I'm just gonna tell you the things that shouldn't happen. The long snapper, rules wise, they don't supposed to touch you. But who said after you hike the ball, you let him run by you? Because
yeah, you
it's
can't
like,
just stand there.
yeah, it's like, look it happened. It's almost like they kicked 5 field goals and somebody noticed it because Cotty hit 5 in a row. Somebody noticed they're actually not protecting. You could run right through. And they was like, watch. Ran right through and blocked it, had him like this 5 feet in front of the guy. Like he's back there, bro. You see what I'm saying? Now,
Yeah,
and on the last play of the game, not one of you guys knew to fix that. He did it again. Same exact thing. And it's not just him. The guy beside him didn't anchor neither. So the guy right here didn't protect you, and your arm touched nobody. Didn't touch anybody, right? Now, you could get into did the long snapper get pushed off of? Yeah, I think he did have his arm on his shoulder. The problem was he didn't jump. He put his arm around his shoulder, his arm on his shoulder, and just literally walked by him. So that's bad coaching or players that can't do their job correctly. That can't happen 2 times in a row. Now, if that happens again, we'll lose this game. If that's something that got exposed and it's not cleaned up, which I have respect that McVay and them will have that cleaned up, we won't win this game. If we can hit our field goals, this is like a 23-20, 2017 type of game. I think Rams can gut it out. But not if we're letting them run free on field goal kicks. Like you can't do that, man. That's like I've never seen something like that 2 times in a row before in a game. It's almost like he was told to let him do that.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
Like think about it. He made none of them jumped. Two or three guys ran right by you. It's
Yeah, they just ran
all
right by them. They just stood there and looked at him.
yeah, and that's why I was like, what was said here? Where I mean, there's I don't know, because I seen people arguing over the rules that say the long snapper can't be touched, but the long snapper can block after he hikes the ball. Like so, I'm not sure. I feel like there was some coach in there that had some of those players confused on what they supposed to do. I don't know if he was in for the other 5 field goals because I don't know what drastically went different from the first 5 to the last 2. And the last thing I will say about that game, Cardi was missing that last field goal anyways. You
Yeah,
could
look was gonna go wide left.
you could see it was gonna go way wide left. Unless there was some wind that I didn't know about, bro, didn't even have to block the kick. He kicked it. It was gonna go so far left, it was gonna end up out of bounds on the left side. So I don't know if that was they broke it. And another thing, it looked like had he hit it straight on, he could have kicked it. Both times, it's like he kicked right there to the left where they're through breaking through the long snapper. Like you do realize the middle, like the middle all the way to the right side of the field goal post is available for you with nobody even trying to get through on that side. It's like they stunned and sent the guys to just all crash that one side and kicked right into it. So I mean, there's a lot to dissect just in those 2 field goal kicks. Any one of them goes in, we win. You see what I'm saying? So I I don't have no confidence in our special teams as far as blocking for our kicker. This isn't on Cardi because I mean after you get a kick block, there might have been nerves and stuff to get the second one blocked, and he's looked money for the most part. But if they don't fix that up, that will cost us this game. The Colts haven't made much mistakes, but I'll go with the Rams and the Colts covering.
Yeah, for me, this game, I don't know. As far as the point spreads goes, to me, this is a game I'll stay away from because I'm not really sure how it's gonna go. For the Rams, I think this is a must win because Seattle and San Francisco are right now ahead of you in the division. You want to kind of stay pace with them. Also, too, for the Colts, the reason why I say I'm not sure how the point spread's going to go, the Colts really haven't played nobody. They beat Miami. Miami's not good.
Yep.
They beat Tennessee. Tennessee's not good. And they should have lost to Denver. They only won that game on a technicality.
Yeah.
So they could be 2-1 right now. But to me, this will be their first real test to see just how good they really are. Because they haven't really played anybody, even though Jonathan Taylor does lead the league in rushing. But I'm going to take the Rams to win this game. One thing that does concern me though is Devontae Adams is listed as questionable.
They
He's
said
been dealing with the hamstring, so we'll see if he plays or not.
what they
But
said.
I still
They said he's expected to play, but
okay.
with a grain of salt because with a hammy you might play one series and be out.
Well, yeah, he might even tweak it in warmups.
Yeah. But they said now, as of now, he's expected to play.
All right,
I
so
just feel like they
we'll
might be
see.
giving him the veteran rest days. He got the past 2 weeks. He's took some big hits.
Yeah. So I
Mm,
mean, we'll see if he plays or not. But I think the Rams will win. I'm just not sure by how much because I'm not really sure how good the Colts are.
yeah, I can't be a homer with this though. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams drop this game.
See, it wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah,
And I think they need to win because they got to keep pace with the Niners and the Seahawks. Luckily, they do play the Niners next week, but I would feel more comfortable with them being 3-1 going into that game instead of 2-2.
And I mean, one thing I will say, and it's kind of not going ahead because it's going to be the next game, so I'll give you a brief thing, and you could finish anything on this before you go to the next game. When I looked at this when I was looking at my picks this week, I looked at this like there's two trap games this week, right?
Hmm.
And it's both in our division. If I was gonna bet two upsets this week, if I was betting them, I put a bunch of bets in, but I didn't really do the upsets. I just kind of pick 10 teams, see if I could hit them all and just juice them, right? But here's the thing. It would be the Rams and the Niners losing this week. I think next week would be more of a must-win Thursday night football, not just for us, for both teams, because I think
Yeah.
Seattle's going to be a problem. Seattle is going to be a real big problem. So I just look at this. I'm picking the Rams because I do believe they're the better team, top to bottom, especially at the quarterback position, and especially with coaching, ownership as well. But just to get that in there. But if I was to say a trap game, this has kind of it's weird because the Colts are 3-0 to call this a trap game for the Rams to lose. But everybody and their mother knows the Rams are the actual better team here. But it just seems like a trap game for some reason.
Well, the Colts are off to their best start since 2009. Last time they started out 3-0, they went to the Super Bowl. That's the year they lost to the Saints. And we'll see what type of game plan Carly Ursay comes up with. See what she could do to stop us.
Yeah.
All right, so the next game that you did allude to, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are going to be 3.5 point favorites despite the injury to Nick Bosa, who tore his ACL last week.
Shout out to
But
Nick Bosa. That's
good news. Let's say that again.
I said shout out to Nick Bosa. Hail up. That's just
Yeah, both they had two bad injuries in that game. Nick Bosa tearing his ACL, and then James Conner breaking his ankle.
yeah, uh, that ankle breaking is rough. Think CD Lamb might have broke his ankle this week too. It's a whole lot of shit going on right now.
Yeah, they're calling it a sprain, but Jerry said he could miss like 3 to 5 weeks.
Bro, I seen him sliding on the side of his foot. I don't know how much of a sprain that was, but whatever. I'm not the doctor.
All right, my cat's fucking around in the background. But yeah, for the Niners though, they do get some good news. I don't know if it's good news or not, but Brock Purdy, every time Mac Jones won, that turf toe got more and more better.
Yes, it
And
did.
Brock Purdy's gonna give it a shot this week, so he's gonna play. He's gonna start. My breakdown for this game. Oh yeah, the Niners are also 3.5 point favorites. My breakdown for this game is I'm not really sure how good Jacksonville is.
Yeah,
They've looked good at times, but then at other times it's like I don't know.
yeah,
And the Niners defense, even without Nick Bosa, is still pretty good. They could give Trevor Lawrence some problems. Brock Purdy coming back early from the turf toe. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not. But like you said,
probably
he
not.
doesn't have job security like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, he has the security, so
Joe
he can
Burrow
get that
told him in
surgery.
15 minutes, call the doctor, man.
Yeah.
Said nope.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's like, no, I'm gonna tough it out.
Yep, yep.
Cut my toe off if you have to.
His 50 million a year is a little bit less guaranteed.
Yeah.
You might get the
He's
money,
gonna
but you might never be a starter again either. So, I mean,
So I mean, and then Mac Jones, he played pretty well in his absence, but Purdy's gonna give it a go.
yeah,
But to me, it's not about the Niners offense. I think the Niners win this game because I still like their defense.
yeah.
So I got the Niners winning at home to prove the 4-0.
We have a little difference here. First, I just had Jaguars winning by the spread. I got the Purdy news. Didn't really change much. I woke up today thinking the Jaguars will get them. I almost traded the Colts pick as well because like I told you, I'm feeling on that game. Um, I just think the Jaguars are a different team this year, similar to the Chargers. I don't think that the things you expect to happen to them is going to happen this year. I think that they adjusted quick. They did drop a game, but getting Bigsby out of there, getting Tootin involved. He's gonna get more carries. ETN looks like he's having a breakout party, like he didn't literally stink the place up for 2 years. It looks like he's back to full form. Hunter's eventually gonna be better. Ryan Thomas has also played like shit. So I expect all that to be better. They got Strange. I think that they're in favor of him. So I do think they'll get some tight end play there. And I think the Jaguars got a real good defense. I don't think that right now the 49ers will be able to make the adjustments going into this game to replace what Bosa was doing for them. And I think the Jaguars offense might be a little bit too much for them. I think that Purdy might give them a couple of gifts, at least one. It may or may not be the reason they lose the game because Lawrence might just outplay him. But I think the Jaguars get them this game. I think the Jaguars let people know that they're not the same Jaguars this year. I think I see a little more pep in their step right now.
Yeah, see, for me, I'm not sure what we're gonna get from Brock Purdy, and we're not sure how that toe is gonna affect him, especially throwing the football. It's definitely gonna affect his ability to escape out of potential sacks
Yeah,
and extended plays.
part of his game.
But I just think that I think this is gonna be a defensive game. I think both offenses are gonna struggle, and I'm just giving the Niners the edge because I think their defense is a little better than Jacksonville's defense. I think their defense, even without Nick Bosa, still has the ability to make plays than Jacksonville's defense. And I think it will come down just like last week's game. It might come down to a last second field goal.
I I want one thing I gotta ask you, and this isn't a prediction or anything. This is just a question, right?
Yeah.
If Purdy comes out here with his injured toe, right, and he struggles this week,
Hmm.
even if they win or lose, just say it doesn't matter. Just say he doesn't play well, and next week he doesn't play well. I know Mac Jones didn't play all worldly, but he didn't make much mistakes. With that, he won for the most part when they needed him to win. Now, if Purdy goes through 2, 3 games and it looks like his toes nagging him and he's not playing well, does Shanahan IR him on his own and go with Mac Jones for foreseeable future till he's actually healed, or maybe even run it through even maybe the postseason with him if he gets hot with him? And if that ever did happen, say he ever put Purdy on the IR for 6 weeks or something, 4 to 6 weeks, and he came back near the playoffs, but Mac Jones is winning 90% of his games and playing great. Do you think there's a chance he leaves it how it is? Do you think that what Purdy is fighting so hard to get on the field for? You think that he has that in the back of his mind, maybe?
Yeah, because Brock Purdy saw it firsthand. Remember, the reason why Purdy got the job was because both Trey Lance and Jimmy G got hurt.
Yeah,
And then Brock Purdy came in, he played well, took him to the NFC Championship game, and Kyle Shanahan was like, "Okay, I don't care that Trey Lance is healthy. We're trading him. Brock Purdy's your job." Jimmy G was a free agent anyway. I don't think they're going to resign him because they drafted Lance to
yeah,
replace him. So Jimmy G is a non-factor, but he saw what happened to Trey Lance, and I
yeah,
think Brock Purdy's like, "Okay, that could happen to me, especially if Matt keeps winning." And we all know the story too. In that draft, Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones. He didn't want Trey Lance. Mac Jones was the guy. John Lynch, the GM, he wanted Trey Lance.
yeah.
And he won out being the GM because he picks the players. So he traded up to get Trey Lance. Trey Lance, as you know, is a bust. But yeah, Shanahan, this is his opportunity to say, like, look, I told you 5 years ago we should have drafted this dude. You didn't want to listen. Now I'm going to prove to you that had we had him all along, maybe we would have won a ring or two.
Yeah, well, the reason why I say that is because I think sometimes people are what like players will show you what they are if you watch enough, right?
Yeah.
I think by Purdy, and we could be wrong. He could just be hailing spectacularly, and there's no pressure because it could just be a little bit of jokes we're throwing in there. But just say he is feeling pressure of having to get out there, right? If he rushes this could be more detrimental than you just not playing and letting Mac Jones eventually look bad. Like say it was like, look it, 6-week recovery time. You know,
He's only missing 2 weeks.
yeah, no, just say 6 weeks. Because him and Burrow have similar injuries, obviously different grade, whatever. One opted surgery, one's back in 2 weeks. Seems fast, but just say hypothetically he is rushing himself back. He could end up damaging his foot to the point where you give Mac Jones the job. Whereas if you would have just sat for 6 weeks, he would have messed up and gave you the job back. You kind of see what I'm saying? So I feel like if you're not healthy, heal up because I think Mac Jones will eventually show you that he can't do what you do over there. You know, I don't think it's as easy as people think. I think it would have maybe been easier to let Mac Jones fall on his face than to come and compete when you're not fully healthy.
I get what you're saying, but I think from Brock Purdy's point of view, I think part of the reason why he's rushing back is like I said, he knows that Mac Jones
It's
is
a-
Kyle Shanahan's guy. So that's the guy he wanted since Mac Jones, came out of college.
So
So
basically,
he's
you think
like,
that's
and no, yeah. So he's like, I gotta get back.
yeah,
My toe. Mac Jones, he played okay last week. I think he played better the week before, but he made the plays when he needed to drive him down the field and get that game winning field goal. And I think Brock Purdy saw that was like, oh shit, if Mac Jones keep playing like this, I
yeah.
ain't never get my job back.
Yeah,
So let me go ahead and rush.
yeah, I think I sorry to cut you off, but I think you're probably right. I think if it was a different quarterback, he wouldn't be coming back this week. I think it's probably specifically because it's Mac Jones that he wants to be back on that field.
Yeah, if his backup was Josh Dobbs like it was last year, yeah, he'll probably just sit out, the 3 to 5 weeks like they originally said.
Yeah,
But because it's Mac Jones, I think that's why he's rushing back. I will say though, I think what kind of gives the Niners confidence, maybe not the Niners, but Brock Purdy,
yeah,
is that unlike Joe Burrow when Brock Purdy got his injury, he finished the game. Joe Burrow wasn't able to finish the game. So like you said, it's a different grade. But I still agree with you too. 2 weeks is pretty quick to come back.
yeah. See, especially when you're winning. I mean, typically, if I was the coach, I probably would tell you chill out. I wouldn't doubt. Have they officially said he's playing this week?
Purdy.
No, I mean, have the Niners officially came out and said he's playing this week?
Oh yeah, because they announced it on NFL social media, so that Niners had to officially say it.
Yeah, but what I mean, did he say he's back this week, or did they? You know, sometimes there. If
Oh yeah, I don't know who said it,
yeah, because
but
what
yeah,
I'm
he's
saying
coming
is,
back.
it would be a big telltale if when tomorrow starts, you hear the Niners say, you know what, they're gonna let Purdy dress up, but he's not playing. He's not gonna start the game. It wouldn't surprise me if they went that route. If they don't go that route, he's probably okay. He's probably fine.
Yeah, and they're also getting Juwan Jennings back too.
My thing is this: you're 3-0. How much are you really willing to risk? I mean I
Well, see, that's my thing too, is because looking at the schedule, even if they lose this game, like it's a short week, so you play Sunday, and then you got to get ready for Thursday. It's only 4 days in between. So you would think like, okay, let me just rest Brock for at least these
and
next two
have a
games,
fair game.
because then now you're gonna have like an extended, week.
Yeah, I don't know. I will see. For some reason I don't feel that he plays tomorrow. I could be wrong though. I just have a funny feeling we're not actually gonna see him. It's gonna be one of those. Hi, you practiced for Purdy, didn't you? He's not
Yeah,
playing. Here comes Mac
it's
Jones.
the it's
Or
the fuck it's a fuck with Jacksonville.
yeah, or like week one. Um, Well, I guess another part of it is Mac Jones played for the Jaguars. Maybe they feel that they're at a disadvantage with him starting. I don't know. There could be other things going on there, but I'm gonna go with the Jags winning the game. You got the Niners winning and Jags
I got
covering.
the Niners winning, but I got the Jacks covering the 3.5. I think it'll be a close game,
Yeah, well, I got the
but I
Jags.
could I could see it being one of those like 9-3 or 9-6 or 10-7 or 13-10 type of game.
But yeah, this could be an ugly game. I think that if the Jaguars can put points up, I think that the Niners would be in trouble. I think we'll know within the first quarter how this game's gonna go. If it's a low
Yeah, I agree with you.
Low scoring game, the Niners are gonna step on them. They'll eventually probably even get out of hand in their favor. But if the Jaguars come up and drop 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 in that first quarter, the Niners may be in trouble.
Yeah, they're gonna be in for a long day.
Yeah.
All right, so what potentially could be the game of the week? We have the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams are 1-2. Both teams so far have been a disappointment. The Ravens are 2.5 point favorites despite being on the road, and despite the fact that since Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes came in the league, the Ravens are 1-5 against Kansas City
Yeah.
in that time period. Both teams need to win this game badly because neither team could afford to lose start their season 1-3. What's your thoughts on the Ravens and Chiefs?
First thing I gotta say is crazy. One of these teams is leaving 1-3, or they're both leaving 1-2-1. This
Yeah,
is crazy. Now, this actually has probably an easier answer, and it doesn't mean it's right, but this has a simple answer for me. This is a playoff game. Who wins every time these teams meet in the playoffs?
Kansas City.
That's who wins this game.
I mean, Kansas City even wins every time they meet in the regular season.
But what I mean is this is this right now. Kansas City got caught on a rope for a couple of weeks, and this is a playoff game now. So I'm looking at it like both of yous are coming in playing a playoff game. I've never seen the Ravens beat this Chiefs team in the playoffs. So I'm just gonna go with the Chiefs. I'm gonna say Patrick Mahomes and potential worthy plays may not even matter because the kid Thornton or Thornt, whatever his last name is,
Oh, Tyquan Thornton.
oh, he might got it now. Don't let them get worthy
Well,
Rice.
yeah, but he didn't. He for some reason he didn't got it when he was with New England.
Yeah,
But he got it with Kansas City.
all I'm saying. So right now I'm looking at it like, if you get Worthy back, you got him. You still, I mean, they got technically, I feel like they got a lot of receivers when they're all healthy, and I think they're still looking into Tyreek Hill. But I just think that they have enough to beat this Ravens team. I think they could do passing wise. I think it's going to be hard for the Ravens to stop them. The only advantage I think they have is the Chiefs don't have any running game, bro. They might be the worst running team in football. All jokes
Yeah,
aside.
yeah. I don't. I was about to say like, what's wrong with Isaiah Pacheco? Like, it doesn't make sense for Patrick Mahomes to be the leading rusher on that team.
Yeah, no, even Kareem Hunt looks better than Pacheco when he comes in, and that's not saying much. But
Yeah, I mean,
I,
your quarterback leads the team in rushing, and it's not like Patrick Mahomes is a runner. So, I mean, they have no production from their running backs. Your quarterback can't be your leading rusher. I don't
yeah,
care how good of a
especially
team you are.
nowadays getting older. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
5
because
years.
yeah, Patrick Mahomes is down in his 30s.
Yeah, but I think the Chiefs would be too much. I looked at what the Lions did to the Ravens, and I know it's different dynamic because the run game, but I just don't see a Ravens team that's fighting the same. And Derrick Henry's fumbled in every game. I can't leave this without bringing that up. There's something going on there. I hope this isn't like the decline of Derrick Henry we're seeing, where it's like he never actually falls off. He just can't hold the ball no more. Like it's like where did the fumbling problem come from? And I think he did have a fumbling problem when he first got to the NFL, but that was a long time ago. So I digress. Now, if he can't hold on to the ball and they can't stop anybody from scoring, they're just not that good. Like Lamar's doing too much right now. This is one of the both of these teams fall under that category. If your quarterback is so good, you they didn't feel like they had to give you much, but the Chiefs finally started loading up. Like now, he got Hollywood Brown. Juju probably isn't much, but he got Thornton. He got Rice coming back. He got Worthy maybe back this week. You still got Kelsey. Gray's an underrated tight end. Give the kid a
So
running back.
they're playing Gray more than Kelsey
Yeah.
last week. Yeah, he
It,
got more targets than Kelsey did.
well, I guess I'll throw something out there. I think they're like close friends, I believe, Kelsey and Pat off the field, but something's going on there. They're not on the same page on the field no more. I don't want to bring in Taylor Swift and think this has anything to do with it or something like that, but Bottom line is they're not on the same page. Like they just always knew what each other was expecting before, and Kelsey was always in the right spot. He's not no more. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're just one of them's not in the right spot.
Honestly, I just think it's age. You know, like Kelsey last year had the worst year of his career, and everybody was saying like, "Oh, just a one off. He's gonna be better." And I was like, I don't see it. Like he's now a year older, and he's I think he's like 36, 35, somewhere around there. So for a tight end, that's pretty old, and he just get up there in age. And I just think Noah Gray is younger, he's faster, and I think Mahomes right now just has more confidence in him than Kelsey. Like I said, the Gray last week he got more targets than Kelsey.
I could honestly see, especially after the chest bump from Andy Reid to Kelsey, I could see Kelsey being traded before the deadline for sure. If they got offered something worth it, I could see them trading him. I don't think that their offense
Yeah, but
runs.
if he continues to look washed though, who's gonna want to trade for him?
That's what I said. It just would come down to if somebody offered you the right thing. But then I mean, depending on money financially, like say for example, there's a team that thinks they're a Super Bowl contender and they think Kelsey can do enough and they're willing to pay some of that money, they might practically give him away right now if you're willing to cover his salary. So it might not actually take that much capital. It might just be covering the contract.
Yeah, I mean we'll see, but yeah, I just think
Doesn't look
he's
good.
just getting older. I think he talked about that this might be his last year, but if he continues to play like he is, I think this will be his last year because he just doesn't look he has it anymore.
Might be saying this is last year so they don't trade him. Like so a team don't want to trade.
Maybe, maybe.
Why are you gonna
He
trade?
just right now he just looks washed. Like he looked washed last year, but he looks even worse this year.
Yes, it hasn't looked good. We'll just leave it like that. But I
Yeah.
do got the Chiefs winning this week.
So that means you have them covering obviously the 2.5.
Yep, I have them winning the game.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think Kansas City wins this game. They're at home. Baltimore, their defense just does not look good, even though Kansas City's offense doesn't look good either. But Baltimore's defense just looks terrible. And then for Lamar, you talk about Lamar. He didn't play well last week. Like he ran himself into a lot of those sacks. He got sacked a record 7 times
I want to say
last week.
5 of those sacks he did to himself.
Yeah,
He just
like
looked
he
like
he was doing too much. Like even the sack fumble that Jack Campbell had, that was just Lamar doing too much.
yep.
Like at that
And
point, there's nothing there.
a lot of those times now he had people open. Had he would have let the
Yeah,
ball go on his 3 or 5 step drop, it's just she kept running up into a collapsed pocket and bouncing around. I
yeah,
don't know
and then
what's going on
after
there.
the game, yeah, and then Lamar said after the game that he was surprised that the Lions had a spy out there for him. And so I think maybe Kansas City does the same thing, just have a spy and see what Lamar does. Maybe that throws him off his game like it did last week,
Well,
and they can get more pressure on him.
can't blame a spy for the dumb shit he was doing last week, man. I can't
Yeah,
blame that pass. Like the spy wasn't all over the field. Like maybe he spied him so many times that he started seeing ghosts. But bro was stepping up in clean pockets. Like you had a clean pocket, you was stepping up. It's like almost like he got out of that habit of looking to run. He was really looking to run last week, like as fast as he could. He wasn't going through progressions. He just look at one and just run up, bounce around the field, try to run somewhere. Like typically Lamar's looking down the field. Outside of the one where he got the ball stripped, he wasn't looking down the field on none of those plays he caused the sack. He just jumped up into a crowded pocket.
yeah, and I will say too, I think Baltimore is a front running team because one thing I've noticed about the Ravens, especially since Lamar's been their quarterback, is once they get down, they just have a hard time getting anything going. It's like once they're down by like 10 points,
Yeah,
all of a sudden like their offense can't get their offense going. It's not clicking. They can't move the ball down the field. I don't know if Lamar tries to do too much, but like they just don't look the same once they get down
I don't
by
think
like double digits.
I
Because
don't.
once Detroit took a 14-point lead, and it's like the Ravens weren't even the same team. They couldn't even move the ball on offense. They finally scored a garbage time touchdown with like 20 seconds left, but by that time the game was already over. So that's why the score looked closer than what it really was. But yeah, I have a feeling that not Kansas, but Baltimore's like kind of a front running team, and they really don't come from behind that well.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. Yeah, they haven't definitely haven't looked good trying to come from behind for sure.
But I agree with you though. I think Kansas City will win this game, and obviously both of us having them cover the 2.5
Yeah.
since we got to win it. All right, and then the next game, which everybody was making a big deal about last week because Tom Brady called the Bears Cowboys game, and we talked about it. The Raiders, they played both the Bears and the Cowboys this year, and they actually played the Bears this week. So we'll see how much inside information Tom Brady gave them. But Chicago 1-2 at Las Vegas, who are also 1-2. The Raiders have not looked good the last 2 weeks. Ashton Genty, who's supposed to be the next Marshawn Lynch, he does not look like Marshawn Lynch. The Raiders are, however, 1.5 point favorites over the Bears. And Caleb Williams last week, he actually looked generational. That Cowboys defense is so bad that Caleb Williams looking generational last week. Now his player comp coming out of the draft was John Elway, and he looked like John Elway last week against that Cowboys defense.
Lord have
Had the
mercy.
best game of his career.
All right. Well, let's dive in. I got the Raiders winning and covering. I mean, I don't think it's not. They don't have the better team neither. I just have more faith in Gino than I do in Caleb. And if this, I give you a bold take. Let's go down. Let me just go back to these first ones. All right, I just do this. Caleb Williams is one of the bottom 7 worst quarterbacks in the NFL, and it's not changing. Last week didn't do anything. I literally nothing changed from this year to last year. One game, Dallas Cowboy defense. I don't know what Diggs was doing on some of those plays. I think that's
Well,
more.
Doomsday was killing them last week.
Yeah, but I think this is more about the Doomsday being wide open on some of these plays. I don't know if he's snapping ankles or if they're dialing up those old Cooper Cup plays where you just have him running free. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I think that's more of why Caleb's looked good a few times more than what he's actually doing. I would just go out and say it, and I got no problem eating this take in a couple of years. He's not good. And I don't mean like good like I seen Jared Verse show respect for Hurts because people were saying he can't throw the ball, and I don't think he understood what people meant. Here's the thing: if 32 quarterbacks went out to the backyard and had to throw precision passes, Jalen Hurts is in the bottom 15. That's all people are saying. We do understand people that are backup quarterback, even third stringers in the NFL, are actually pretty good throwers of the football. There's only 32 of them jobs. Even if you gave 3 quarterbacks to every team, there would still be only 96 of those jobs in the world. They're all pretty good at throwing the ball. But when you talk about the elite throwers of the ball, now is where the problem comes in. Caleb Williams isn't going to be elite in the NFL. I'm done. Like I had enough thinking that. It's not going to happen. If you don't look elite with this team right here you got like 3 number 1 wide receivers, you got a real good tight end, you got a pretty serviceable running back, right? You got a decent O-line. I guess this was probably be the weakest point, right? Actually, I think he got 2 good tight ends. So bro, Justin Fields would have looked better than him with what he got over there. You just didn't give that to Justin Fields. You gave it all to this kid, and he don't got it. He's still pouting. He's still crying on the sideline. It sounds like DJ Moore's done with them. I mean, he's not it, bro. I give it one more year, this experiment. If he don't have 5 wins through 6 weeks of next year, that kid's going to get benched. He's not. He's way closer to a bust right now than he is generational. I'm tired of being nice to this situation. I can't be no. He's garbage. By NFL standards, he's garbage. Yes, he could go outside. He's a better quarterback than me. I don't play quarterback. NFL standards, garbage. That's what he is. He's garbage. And I got the Raiders for that reason.
Well, yeah, I got the Raiders too. The spread's only 1.5. The Raiders are 1.5 point favorites. I just think the Raiders are a better team than the Bears, and I think last week was more about the Cowboys' piss poor defense than it was Caleb Williams, making taking the next step. We
Yeah.
saw Russell Wilson. They were talking about benching him after week one.
Cool.
They decided to give him another chance, and then he lit it up against the Cowboys, and that was good enough to give him at least one more game last week. But yeah, I joked around with you in that text. I said the reason why Russell Wilson got benched because Debo saw what Caleb did against that defense. He wasn't impressed by what Russell did against that defense.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's more about the Cowboys just being ass
Yeah.
than Caleb Williams.
I just see Caleb Williams as one of those quarterbacks that's going to get 4 coaches fired before they realize it's him. He just reminds me of one of those guys. And he's not the only one that's done it. There's been a bunch of them. But you're going to get a bunch of guys fired before the owner actually has to take a gut check and realize that you drafted the wrong quarterback. It just is what it is. I think this.
Now, if
Go
the
ahead.
Raiders win this, oh, sorry, my bad, cut you off.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say if the Raiders win this game, how much of the Tom Brady stuff do we hear about him giving them inside information as
Oh, we're
Brady
gonna
called the
we're gonna
Bears game
hear a
last
lot.
week?
We're gonna hear a lot, and I don't think any of this plays in. I think Tom Brady's laughing, thinking, "Why do you got to cheat to beat the Bears? Like, you kidding me? Like, nobody's taking that shit serious. I do believe we'll hear about it, but I don't think it factors in at all. You don't got to get extra information to beat the Bears. Everybody beats the Bears. What are we talking about? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and when the Raiders play the Cowboys later on this year, you don't need to cheat to beat them either. They're just as bad. They're
This is
worse
my
than the
thing.
Bears.
If they went and they beat the Eagles, I would be like, hold up, did he get something in there? They learned how to stop. Bro, we're talking about the Bears and the Cowboys. I don't believe Tom Brady has to do anything to cheat to beat y'all. You probably could watch one of your games and tell them your whole playbook is so basic. I don't think he needs any tips to do that.
Yeah, I don't think any team needs any tools to do that.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like people are going out playing man on y'all and you still can't do nothing. That's why once in a while I think um oh my God, not Luther Burden. What's homie? I almost said Abuka. What's the other Adunze? That's why
Oh,
Adunze is
Dunze.
open so much. They're literally manning y'all. And there's a couple off plays where he's just running free. It just is what it is. But I'm not impressed with anything Caleb Williams done since entering the NFL. And not any of it. Not one thing.
Yeah, I mean, neither. He looked better in college. But I'm with you though. I think the Raiders win. They're the better team, and I'll move on to the next game. So we got the Sunday night game. The Green Bay Packers 2-1 at the Dallas Cowboys. They're 1-2. Packers are 6.5 point favorites. I think this is going to be the Michael Parsons revenge game. I mean, Dallas is not good. If Chicago blew them out last week, I can see Green Bay blowing them out again. Green Bay blew them out 2 years ago in the playoffs, and the Cowboys were a better team.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones called that the worst loss of his ownership. So I think the Packers win this game. I think they cover the 6.5, and I think it's gonna be a blowout because Dallas is not good at all.
Yeah.
Dallas might be the worst team in the NFL,
I mean,
especially defensively.
there's a few of them fighting for that worst team right now. Um, But I think you nailed everything on the money. This is Parsons' revenge game. I won't say too much about this game. If Dallas stays close in this game, it's just because Green Bay is dealing with a shit ton of injuries. I think right now, I think most of them are expected to play. So, and Dallas is missing Lamb. So, I think Green Bay covers and wins this game.
Yeah, I agree. So I will move on. We'll go to the Monday night games. There's two Monday night games this week. The first one, and I think the NFL is regretting putting this game on prime time. But we
Yes.
have the 0-3 New York Jets versus the 0-3 Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 2.5 point favorites at home. Uh, Justin Fields is out with the concussion, so Tyrod will start for the second week in a row. I'll just give my thoughts real quickly. I think the Jets pull off the upset, and they'll cover the 2.5.
I picked this game thinking Fields would be good. Um, kind of want to change it to tell you the truth. But I do believe the Jets just I just think the Dolphins are falling apart here. I don't think that they could win anything right now. They might legitly be the worst team in football, not from a player standpoint, but just from what's going on standpoint. I don't know if their players are trying too hard right now.
Well, right now the betting odds on which coach will be the first to be fired is either Mike McDaniel or Brian Callahan, the coach of the Titans, because he did something stupid last week too, called a timeout and still somehow got delay of game. So you call a timeout, your team still don't know what the hell to do on offense, which made no sense.
I'm gonna stick with the Jets here. Who's the favorite? The Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins are favored by 2.5. That's why I said I think the Jets win and obviously they cover.
This is tough, man. I might do something here.
Because I think even with Tyrod, I think the Jets are still a better team. The Jets should have won last week against Tampa, and they should have beaten Pittsburgh on week 1. Like I
Yeah,
just think the Jets are better than Miami.
I'm gonna stick with the Jets.
All right, and then the second Monday night game, bless you.
Good looks.
The second game, Sunday Monday night game, will be Cincinnati Bengals at the Denver Broncos. Cincinnati 2-1. They got blown out last week against Minnesota, but they're still in first place in their division. Denver is 1-2. They've lost back-to-back heartbreakers. They lost to Indianapolis in week 2 on a technicality, and then they lost to the Chargers last week on a last-second field goal. So, what's your thoughts on Bengals Broncos? Obviously, Joe Burrow's out. Denver is 7.5 point favorites, though.
Got the Broncos, but I got the Bengals by the spread. I just think he's prone to give away a couple of interceptions. The Broncos have a pretty good defense. They haven't been putting up much points, but I think that they'll win the game. I do believe they won't cover the spread though. I wouldn't take them over the spread.
I
Bengals.
think the always why the spread so high is because I think they're thinking that Brown is going to turn the ball over like he has his first 2 games. Because even though he only played a half and they did win the game, but he threw 3 interceptions against Jacksonville, even though they won. And then last week, he single handedly lost that game for the Bengals with all the interceptions he was throwing. Like, I don't know, maybe he thought he played for the Vikings or something, but he was just throwing the ball to Minnesota the whole game.
Yeah, he was seeing colors. He's not the first one. I seen Gino when he was playing the Chargers. He threw them the ball every play damn near. It seemed like, but I think I just don't. The Broncos just haven't been able to put up points. So I just feel like a lot of field goal drives. Browning can still get the Bengals points. Like he might throw 3 picks, 3 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah,
sure.
like he did against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll give you some. But I guess I don't have faith that the Broncos put all those in the end zone. Is I guess what it comes down to. Like because their offense hasn't. Their running game is nowhere. Their offense has been pretty up and down. Um, they lost at the end of the game last week. Obviously, I think they had to control that game for a little bit. So
Yeah, they were up by 10 in the fourth quarter. They blew that game, to be honest with
yes.
you.
So I trust their defense, but I don't trust their offense to be able to put up points. And I think if Browning throws the ball enough, Chase and Higgins and all these guys are gonna make plays. So I think the game would be closer than people expected. But I do believe the Broncos win.
Yeah, to me, this is a game that if Burrow was playing, Cincinnati hands down.
Easy.
Yeah, because I do believe Cincinnati is the better team,
Yeah.
but I think Denver wins this game. I don't have confidence in Browning. Like you said, he could throw 3 touchdowns, but can also give you 3 interceptions. So I agree with you. I think the game's gonna be a lot closer. I do think Cincinnati covers the 7.5, but I do have the Broncos winning the game.
Yep. Same thing here. Is there any other topics you want to dive in for this week?
Yeah, so yesterday the NFL announced their nominees for the Hall of Fame. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on it and who do you think will actually be nominated? Well, here's the nominees, but who do you think will actually make the Hall of Fame for 2026?
Go ahead.
So let me pull up the nominees here. So for the quarterbacks, these are the quarterbacks that are nominated for the Hall of Fame. We have Drew Brees, Randall Cunningham, Jake Delhomme, which surprised me, Richie Gannon, Jeff Garcia, Eli Manning, Donovan McNabb, the late great Steve McNair, Philip Rivers, and Alex Smith.
How many
Out of those quarterbacks, which one do you think gets in?
doesn't each position get a certain amount of members that goes in?
No, so I think out of all the players that got nominated
Yeah.
yesterday or the day before, they're gonna choose 9 of them. So only 9 players
Well,
get in,
well, I,
regardless of
what
position.
I'll do is I'm gonna name the ones that take out the hat for now, but I might take a few of them off the list later. But
Well, I know for sure I'm taking Alex Smith, Jake Delhomme, and Rich Gannon off the list.
well,
Um,
I'll put it like this: the ones that I think out of them that have a shot to get in, we just focus on them. If I had to guess, I'd say probably Drew Brees, Eli Manning for the 2 Super Bowls. And after that, I'd probably say Randall Cunningham would probably be my top 3 guys right now out of them that I could see getting in this year.
Actually, I was gonna say Steve McNair. Randall Cunningham, he's been retired for like 25 plus years and he hasn't
That's
got
why
in yet. So
that's why
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's exactly why I picked him out of that hat. It's because other than that, I know McNair will get in there, but I just feel like he's the one right there out of all the oldest guys that was on that list. He probably feels like he should already be in there. So
Yeah,
even over Breeze and Manning, he might be the guy to watch out for. McNair
I'm
would be
surprised
my.
Randall Cunningham isn't already in. Like he's the one that paved the way for all these mobile quarterbacks.
This is why I'm saying why he might be the one this year out that list. But those 3 guys would be the one, and I'm not picking all 3 of them because I gotta hear everybody else being nominated. But those 3 guys have, I think, the best chance out of the quarterbacks.
Well, okay, before I move on though, what are your thoughts on Alex Smith? Because I was really surprised that he was even nominated for Hall of Fame. 'Cause I don't really view Alex Smith as a Hall of Famer, so I'm
So
surprised he got
I guess
nominated.
I guess they're looking at it for his Chiefs run. Wasn't it like 4 or 5 AFC championships in a row? Something like
Yeah,
that.
I mean they made the playoffs, but with the Niners, he was bad his
Yeah,
first 8 years.
yeah. I think he only had one good year there, maybe 2. It
Yeah,
has
when Jim Harbaugh came.
to be for his Chiefs run. I know he like I think it was before Mahomes came that I feel like they was in the AFC Championship game with Alex Smith 3 years in a row or something like
But
that.
that's why I tell people about Patrick Mahomes. He got drafted to the perfect situation. Like
Yeah,
they were 12-4 the year before he got there.
yeah. So I I mean it's tough. I think some of those guys will never get in the Hall of Fame until it's like they're gonna be waiting like Randall Cunningham time. Like I don't believe some of those guys may not even deserve to be on that list. But like I said, if you're telling me 30 years from now, they'll probably let Alex Smith in. I don't think any of these guys are first ballot Hall of Famers. I don't think there's one on that list outside of maybe Drew Brees.
Yeah, well that's why Alex Smith like surprised me. Because I don't really view him as a Hall of Famer. And like you said, yeah, he was great with the Chiefs, but I can't. Those first 8 years gotta mean for something. He played 16 years.
Yeah,
His last 8 years are good. His first 8 years were pretty
yeah.
bad. I know a lot of that had to do with coaching because we saw once Jim Harbaugh got there, it turned around his whole entire career. But
That's why I
those
think
first 8 years were rough.
he's gonna be some of those guys are gonna be longevity Hall of Famers. Meaning they're not getting in anytime soon. It's gonna take 20, 30 years.
Yeah, well, Alex Smith might be that guy.
I believe so.
All right, so I'll move on to the running backs. For the running backs, we have Sean Alexander, Mike Allstott, who we were just talking about earlier, Tiki Barber,
Shit.
Larry Centers, who's actually a fullback, Jamal Charles. Speaking of Alex Smith and the Chiefs, his old teammate Jamal Charles,
Yeah.
Corey Dillon, Warwick Dunn, Arian Foster, Eddie George,
Jesus.
Frank Gore, another Alex Smith teammate, Priest Holmes, Ricky Waters. I'm surprised he's not in yet. Fred Taylor, Lorenzo Neal, another fullback,
Damn.
LaShawn McCoy, Marshawn Lynch, Jamal Lewis, Thomas Jones, CJ2K, Chris Johnson, and then our boy Steven Jackson.
Skip that list for now. I get back to them because I know there's only one of those guys probably getting in, and it's gonna
Yeah,
be
and you can make a case for every single person on this that got nominated.
yeah, I know. It's just gonna be it's gonna be a hard choice, bro, to get to even pick one of them. I gotta see if there's any sure ones, and then I'll go back there and I'll figure it out.
Well, I think as much as I love Steven Jackson, I think he's the name you have to take off the list because he never made it to the playoffs. So when we start factoring like playoffs, games, and Super Bowls, you got to take him off. The other ones are more accomplished in that sense.
I don't know who I would pick out that group. I don't think, truthfully, I don't think there's one first ballot Hall of Famer in that group.
Not even Beast Mode or Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson would probably be my closest to, or even Jamal Charles had a few years. Like these guys all had ups and downs, but like first ballot Hall of Famers to me, I don't know, man. Like Marshall Falk, LaDainian Tomlinson, so, like these ain't those level of guys that we're reading through. Like I don't think I wouldn't mind them getting in, but I just don't think there's any legit first ballot Hall of Famers there. Not, and I'm not
Well,
saying by my standards. I'm just saying voting wise. I don't think any of
yeah.
those guys would be voted in first
Well,
ballot.
I'll say this. I'm surprised that Eddie George hasn't made it already because
He's
Eddie George was a beast back in the day,
yeah, now
and he's been retired now for at least a good 15 years or so.
like this.
And same thing with Ricky Waters. Back in the '90s when I was a kid, he used to kill us all the time when he was with the Niners, and I'm
He got
surprised
Super Bowl.
he hasn't gotten in.
If you're going through ones that most likely, if I'm taking ones out of there, Eddie George, Ricky Waters, probably Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott, just because they, I don't know. I feel like they had like that thunder and lightning dynamic. One of them might just get the nod. It'd probably even be Allstott, but and then Alexander had two great seasons. Other than that, not so much. Tiki Baba, I don't know if I could see him as a first ballot. He had an up and down. He had a pretty good career, but first ballot, like I don't like think about the first ballot guys. Like right now, I'm thinking, and the reason why I'm saying that, right? I know on that wide receiver list, there's already two guys that should get in this year, and I'm not saying they will, but I know there's already two names that should be in this nine. It's gonna be hard to get more than one of those running backs in. If I narrowed it down
Well,
to
if
one,
you're going
George's
first, if you're going first ballot, I'll say this: if you're going first ballot, though, I think the closest will have to be Marshawn Lynch and Frank Gore, because in their generation, they were top three running backs. The only running back that was better than them in their generation would be Adrian Peterson, I
well,
think.
to be fair, Frank Gore is more like an Emmitt Smith, bro. You just played.
Just longevity.
Yeah, you played for 30 years. Nice try though. Like dudes like this dudes that played you just look number wise, like when you was at both at the same amount of years, it wasn't close. You know what I'm saying? Once they retired and you had another 9 years, I don't know if that could
Yeah. Well, in that case, then yeah, I think Beast Mode's better than Frank Gore.
yeah, I would say that for sure. And he got one ring. I would say if Beast Mode got that handoff, scored that touchdown, and won that game against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Right now, I don't think he is. And it's not my opinion. Like I said, I don't think, and some of those guys, this might not be the first time they've been on it. Like Ricky, no way Ricky Watts is the first time you've been nominated
Yeah,
again.
like he played back in the '90s. He's been
Same thing
retired
with
for
Eddie
years.
George. So, like, it's Eddie George, if he got in this year, it's probably his fourth, fifth try. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
same thing with Mike Allstott. Mike Allstott, Warwick Dunn,
And that's
Corey Dillon, I mean, even Tiki Barber. They've all been retired for like
and
20
this is
years.
why I'm telling you, if one of those guys gets in, it's gonna be one of those guys. Like one of those guys that's been on there long. Cause I don't see any of those newer guys as being first timers. So that's why it's like I'd probably, if I'm taking something out of there, I might even take Mike Allstar and Eddie George and say they both get in. But if I gotta pick one, it's one of those guys.
All right. Well, I'll move on now to the wide receivers. The wide receivers that are nominated, we have Anquan Bolden, Donald Driver, Larry Fitzgerald,
Fitz has
our
got
boy Toy Holt, who's been
hold
getting nominated
there's the
again.
two. Fitz
Yeah, it seems
Holt
like
is
Holt,
overdue.
yeah, Toy Holt gets nominated every year, but he just never gets
Yeah.
in.
He's due.
Chad,
Fitz is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He
Yeah.
deserves to get in.
Chad Johnson,
Oh,
Chad
not
Ochocinco, he's
yet.
nominated.
Not yet.
I actually forgot about this dude. He used to play for the Niners back in the day with Jeff Garcia. Brandon Lloyd, he got nominated.
He played for the Rams too for a little bit. He has an amazing
Yeah.
press. I highlight him.
Um, Brandon Marshall,
Another good one.
Derek Mason, Herman Moore,
Oh, that.
Mushin Muhammad, no
Let me
Carolina Panther great.
add Herman Moore, but he might get taken back off. But there's potential he could get in this year. All right, read the rest.
Yeah, I have something to say about Herman Moore. I'll get back to that later.
All
So
right.
you got Mushin Muhammad, former
Yeah.
Carolina Panther great. Jordy Nelson is nominated. Jimmy Smith, former Jacksonville Jaguar. Rod Smith, Denver Bronco. Steve Smith, another Carolina Panther great. Hines Ward. Reggie Wayne, nominated again. Hopefully, maybe he might get in this year. Wes Welker's nominated this year. And then Roddy White, former Falcon wide receiver, he's nominated. Well, Herman Moore, I'll say that I do remember in the 90s as a kid, he was one of the, maybe a top five receiver.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the same level as like Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, and Chris
Yeah.
Carter, but he was pretty decent. And for Herman Moore, you can make the argument that maybe if the Lions had a better quarterback, he
Scott
could have
Mitchell.
put up better numbers.
Nobody even knows who Scott Mitchell is. He was
Yeah,
like a random lefty quarterback.
and that was who was throwing Herman Moore the ball.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
Scott Mitchell's the reason why Barry Sanders had 10-man fronts his whole career because they didn't respect Scott Mitchell throwing the ball.
Yeah, fair to say. 100% fact.
But out of those wide receivers I just named, like
The three
who do
guys,
you think gets in or
the three
taken
guys
out?
I got is all right. So I think Fitz is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I
Yeah, I
don't
think he
think
gets
there's
in
no doubt about
most
that.
so far out of all the positions. I think he's the one that's guaranteed to get in.
I think Holt deserves to be in next, and then the third one, and these guys obviously Herman Moore been trying to get in for a while, and there's one other old dude that was just at the end of that list. I just drew a blank.
Oh, it's either Jimmy Smith or Rod Smith. They all played at the same
It,
time
there you go.
in the 90s.
It's Jimmy Smith because of the Jaguars. So I believe Fitz and Holt should be locks. I don't know why Holt hasn't got in. Right after Holt, I think Reggie Wayne deserves to get in, but I don't think Reggie Wayne deserves to get in until Holt gets in because Holt's been waiting longer than you for the first part. And I think Herman Moore probably deserves it more than Reggie Wayne too. So I would probably try to get Fitz, Holt, and Herman Moore. But I have a funny feeling when we at the end of this list, we'll check it out. But I think only two wide receivers get in. And for some reason, I think Holt gets snubbed again. It's like they just keep snubbing that boy.
Honestly, looking at the wide receivers, I think only one gets in. That's Larry Fitzgerald. I think Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne will both get snubbed again.
Yeah.
But for the wide receivers, though, this is going to be a tough list because you're talking about Herman Moore. But me personally, I think Chad Johnson was better than Herman Moore.
Yeah, but the reason why I think Herman Moore. So I'm just looking at these ain't my personal. Some of them ain't my personal picks. What it is, I'm looking at the way they do things, and the guys that been lingering on there for 30, 35 years, they
Yeah,
eventually gonna get them in. Unless
they,
you're
they
like
want they want to they want to get them in before they start dying off.
Yeah, unless you're a first ballot guy. Like if you're a first ballot guy, they're jumping the line. If you're not gonna be a first ballot guy, it's like, I mean, you might as well start getting the other guys in because Reggie Wayne, them still kind of young. They got a lot of time left as far as on
Yeah,
this earth. Like some of these other guys that are on this list don't make it in before they die. So I'm looking like the Herman Moores, even maybe the Rod Smiths, the Jimmy Smiths of the world. I probably would start getting these guys in if it was me. But I know Fitz gets in. My next bet would be Holt, but I have hard trouble seeing him getting in until I see it.
yeah. Well, to your first point though, yeah, that's what they did with Mongo last year. They knew he was sick, so let's get him in the Hall of Fame while he's still alive, and then he ended up dying a year later.
Yep.
I think what hurts Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne is that they're both wide receiver twos because for Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce gets all the credit. For Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison gets all the credit, and both of those guys are in the Hall of Fame already. So I think being wide receiver twos hurts them. I think that's gonna be the problem too with both Jordy Nelson and Musha Muhammad. They're
Yeah,
both wide receiver twos, even though they did put up good numbers,
the
but they
crazy
weren't the number one guys.
the crazy thing is though, towards the end of that greatest show on turf, Bruce was actually the two. So that
Yeah,
like
because he was getting older.
yeah, so it's like Torrey Holt wasn't he was a two for like what, a year or two? He was the one the whole time Mark Bogle was there until he left.
But yeah,
So
but Isaac Bruce is I think the way they think it was like, okay, Isaac Bruce was the Hall of Famer because he's in the Hall of Fame already. So they thinking that's why
I
Holt, because you're
well,
seeing
I'll put it
one
like
on one.
this. If I was to pull you up highlights, who made the more spectacular catches?
Torrey Holt.
Who actually has better numbers from a statistical standpoint career wise? Torrey Holt broke
Torrey
records.
Holt.
Yeah, so I know as a Rams fan, no disrespect to my guy Bruce, he's not better than Torrey Holt. No way in hell. Like you crazy. But
But he's the one that got in.
I know, and that's fine. That's why we're not. He got in. That's our boy. We ain't gonna play this number two thing when Torrey Holt was really the one on that team. Even the rookie year when he came in, it's like, and then he changed his number, and people thought we had a new rookie. Like, what's going on, bro? He was amazing from the minute he came to the Rams. And I mean, if you go back in that time, nothing against Bruce, because like I said, I love Isaac Bruce, but think back to that greatest show on turf, bro. He wasn't. He had some home run catches now, but he wasn't making those wild plays like them other guys were. Like Marshall, Az Hakim, Torrey Holt. There was specialness going on everywhere. Bruce was just playing the X. That's fine, but he wasn't doing more than Torrey Holt. So if you put Bruce in, Holt should have been. Holt should have honestly Holt, Warner, and Bruce should have all went in together, but the NFL just don't do things the right way. Along with our left tackle, they all
Yeah,
those
Orlando Pace.
yep, all those greatest show on turf guys was all eligible at the same time.
Well, so far all of them are in the Hall of Fame except for Torrey Holt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that's why I said it's time. You know what I'm saying? It's time. So,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think that's the problem too with Reggie Wayne. Why he keeps getting denied, it's because everybody looks at Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison's already in the Hall of Fame, and I think they just look at that as okay. Reggie Wayne, which is wide receiver two, all the coverage is going to Marvin Harrison, and that's why Reggie Wayne was able to put up good numbers.
yeah, but it just comes down to the same aspect right now. T. Higgins is a two, but he's better than other teams' wide receiver ones. So is he really a
Exactly.
two? It's like that's the thing. Send your number one corner over there and see if he does any better than he's doing on Jamar Chase. Like it's you're not gonna do much better. So I just can't. I don't care if you're a wide receiver one, two, or three. There's so many wide receivers in the Hall of Fame right now that could not lace Tory. That matter of fact, probably couldn't lace any of those wide receivers you named boots. But yet they're all waiting on the outside looking in for some little restriction because you can only put so. Why is there a limit how many people you could put in the Hall of Fame a year?
Honestly, I don't know. I think the normally they do like 8 or 9. Last year they only put in like not last year, but this year they only put in like maybe 5 or 6 this year. I'm not sure.
So this is what we got to do. We need to figure out exactly why that is, if there's some reason for that. And I want to rant about that. I need to know why they have dudes waiting for no reason when they easily could just put more people in. Like
Yeah,
I
because some of these guys getting nominated, like they played back in like the 80s and 90s, and they still ain't got in yet.
it's because you're stipulating. I know this is what I was telling you. I think there's only like, say it was 9 people, they couldn't be all 9 wide receivers because there's like a cap per position too. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of wide receivers get stuck waiting because they can only put in a few of you. But at the same time, it's like that shit doesn't. You make the rules, just change them. Use a changing rules every day to make the game softer, and you can't change rules to put more people in the Hall of Fame. Like I don't understand it. But what else do you got for nominations as far as tight ends, defense, stuff like that?
Okay, so the tight end, the list for the tight ends
Yeah.
is Vernon Davis, Zach Miller, Greg Olson, Wesley Walls, who I apologize, I don't know who that one is.
think that's what.
Delaney Walker, I'm surprised he's on this list, and Jason Witten. And real quickly, I'll just give you my thoughts. I don't see any of those tight ends getting in.
Yeah, there's only.
Maybe Jason Witten.
Yeah, he's the only guy that's close to a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I don't think no tight ends get in. I don't think any of those guys get in. But I'll write down Jason Witten just for when I get my little list together.
All right, and then for the offensive linemen, we have Willie Anderson, Matt Burke, Lomas Brown, another guy who played back in the 90s for the Detroit Lions. He's on this list. Ruben Brown, Ryan Clandy, David DeCastro, Jahari Evans, Jordan Gross, Ryan Khalil, of former Carolina Panther,
Yeah,
Cam Newton's guy,
yeah,
Logan Mackins, former New England Patriot, Tom Nailey, Marquise Pouncey,
yeah,
the Pittsburgh Steeler one, not with the Dolphins one.
yeah.
Jeff Saturday's on that list.
He's good.
Josh Sitton, Joe Staley, former Niner, Brian Waters, Richmond Webb, Eric Williams, Dallas Cowboy great. Again, another guy who's been on the list since the 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised he's not in yet. Steve Winowski, another Cowboy, and then Marshall Yonda with the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm
So
good.
out of that list, again, I don't really see any offensive linemen getting in. But if I had to pick one, I would go with I think Jeff Saturday will probably get in, and then Lomas Brown and Eric Williams for the same reasons you have for the other guys. They just been on there for 30 plus years.
Yeah, I think a few left tackles will get in. I think it will be for the reason they've been on there long. So I'm not even gonna write down the names. I'm just gonna say one of those dudes that's been on that list from the '90s, maybe two, get in, possibly one along with Jeff Saturday. But if I was gonna push one of those guys to be like a definite right now, it probably would be Jeff Saturday because you got the Peyton Manning. So he's the center for Peyton. So
Yeah.
I mean that would probably be the pick. But
Well,
like
and also too for his era, he was considered the best center in the game.
yeah, and with one of the best teams. So that's why I think the dynamics there for him to get the nod. Other than any of those other guys, I don't think that they're like definite ends unless you're just taking one of the guys that's in for longevity because this is 40th year attempting to get in, But
Yeah, I see the O linemen the same way I see the tight ends. I don't think any O linemen get in this year.
I think that they push O linemen in. I think that one of those smaller name O linemen probably got a better chance to get in than Reggie Wayne.
Yeah,
That's why I think we will see some of these linemen get in, maybe Jeff Saturday and one or two of the older guys. I think that is where some of these positions will come from.
well, also too Logan Mankins because he was part of that Patriots dynasty, so they might
Yeah,
put him in too.
that's why I think the ones that's tied to the biggest teams probably might be the most likely. I mean,
All right, so D lineman, and I remember him, Atlanta Falcon great, John Abraham,
yeah,
Geno Atkins, former Cincinnati Bengal,
so he's good.
Jarrell Casey with the Titans, Elvis Dumerville played for the Ravens, Leroy Glover, former Cowboy, Robert Mathis, another Indianapolis Colt, Haloti Nada, I think he should get in.
I think
Jay
Robert
Ratliff,
might get in.
yeah, Simeon Rice with the Bucks. I'm surprised he's not in
Yeah,
yet.
I thought he was already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, me too. I thought he was in with Sapp and
And
Brooks in there, but no,
yeah,
he's not in yet. And then Justice Smith, another former Niner. Ted Washington, he won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. Vince Wilfork, another Patriot. And then Kevin Williams, former Viking.
I'm gonna go with our boy from the Colts. I think him and Saturday get in together.
You're talking about
Mathis.
Robert Mathis, yeah.
I remember,
Honestly, I think Simeon Rice should get in, but I think he might get passed over again. I could see the two Patriots getting in, Vince Wilfork and
absolutely, I can see Will
Ted
Fork.
Washington.
Yeah, I'm looking at those Patriots and Colts players because that's that rivalry. Then I think we're gonna see some of those Patriots and Colts players going together for sure. Maybe in that aspect, maybe we do see Reggie Wayne getting this year. Good luck, man.
It's gonna be tough though since they have a quota.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm writing down likelies and kind of see where we'll go from there.
I mean, hello to Nada too. You can make a case for him, but I think all the credit for those Ravens defenses though
I
goes
want to
to
say,
Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
bro, you could make an argument for just damn near every defensive lineman you read off.
Yeah.
Like that's the first list you read. There's probably a real good argument for every single one of those fellas.
All right, linebackers. You have Navarro Bowman, Niner. Lance Briggs, former Chicago Bear.
That's
I
a good
think
one.
since Urlacher's in, you might as well put Briggs in too. Teddy Bruschi, he's nominated. Patriot great. Thomas Davis, former Panther, he's nominated. James Ferrier of the Steelers, he's nominated. London Fletcher, he played for the Rams and the Redskins,
That's it.
aka the Commanders, he's nominated. James Harrison is another Steeler. Debo, he should get in. I think he probably will. Luke
Hold
Kuechly,
on,
Luke
who you say?
Kuechly, can't say his name.
Oh, Luke Kuechly gotta get in.
Yeah. So he's nominated along with Thomas Davis. And then AJ Hawk of the Packers, he's nominated. His teammate Clay Matthews III, he's nominated. Dat Nguyen, I don't remember him, but he's nominated. Takeo Spice, I remember him with the Bills. Terrell Suggs with the Ravens, he should get in.
Yeah,
And then Lee Woodall.
yeah. All right, so all right. Now see if you can post something up that tells you um if there's a limit of how many players per position can make it in the Hall of Fame in 1 year.
Let me see if I can pull that up right now.
And I'm just gonna give you the names, the list of names, and this isn't obviously 9, but these are the names that stand out the most. I didn't name a lot of the D linemen because I feel like you could kind of make an argument for every one of them. I just put Wilfork because I do kind of see a scheme here. I think we see a lot of Colts and Patriots in this year's Hall of Fame. But these are the names I'm looking at. Quarterbacks, I'll cut them short right now. I think the only one that really should get in this year is Drew Brees. I think that's the only lock out of all those names that when I looked at, I thought was a Hall of Fame quarterback. This is
Yeah, for
now
some reason, I feel like they're going to put Eli before him, though.
could be, but I'm going off my opinions now. Remember before I was going off the ones I think would be the names still. This is my
Yeah.
opinions. I think Drew Brees is the only one that is even remotely close to a first ballot Hall of Fame on that list. I think he stands out like a sore thumb in that group, right? I believe Eli may be the next because the 2 Super Bowls, which may be why people put him first because the 2 Super Bowls. But I believe he'd probably be next. I think Cunningham and Steve McNair is pick your poison. I'd probably go Cunningham then McNair because Cunningham's been waiting long, even though Steve McNair's not here. Rest in peace. But I just think from quarterback play, that's the way it would go, right? But I only believe Drew Brees gets in. If I'm picking one person out that group, actually I'm lying. I think 2 quarterbacks get in. I think we'll see Eli and Drew Brees get in. I think we'll see both of them. So that's 2 positions. I think Fitz is an absolute lock. If he doesn't get in, that's like complete disservice to what a wide receiver in football should be, right?
Okay. I have the rules for the Hall of Fame and how they do the voting.
All right, let's do this.
All right. So they have to vote out of all the players that get nominated. They have to vote between 4 to 8 to actually make it to the Hall of Fame. So out of all these players, only 4 to 8 of them are actually going to get nominated and put in the Hall of Fame.
All right,
So
so
that right there, you can only pick eight players.
all right,
Out of those 8 players, 5 of them have to be modern era players, which means they retired within the last 5 years.
all right,
So either 5 years or let's say like at least like 5 to 15 years. Those are modern era players. So that'll be like your Eli, Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald,
yeah.
the Luke Kuechlys, those players.
What about the
So
other
5 of
3?
those have to come that, and then you have to pick at least 3 people who are seniors. So the seniors will be like the Randall Cunninghams, the Lomas Browns, the Eric Williams, the Mike Allstotts, guys who've been waiting for 20 plus years.
All right,
And
well,
also too, and that could also be a coach or a contributor. We haven't gotten that far yet in the list, but they're included too. And then last but not least, to be nominated, you have to at least to be in to get voted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You have to at least get 80% of the vote.
All right. Well, throw the DBs and coaches out there because I want to see how much
Okay.
list we can hit.
All right. So for DBs, we have Eric Berry,
Yep.
former Kansas City Chiefs, Cam Chancellor. He might be the one. Nick Collins from the for the Packers. D'Angelo Hall, Rodney Harrison, another one that's been waiting for a long time. James Hasty, Cornell Lake, another guy that's been waiting since a long time. He played for the Steelers back in the 90s.
Sun plays.
Allen Rossum, Patrick Surtain Sr., Earl Thomas, Charles Peanut Tillman, Troy Vincent, who ironically is the head of NFL punishment. He's the one that handles the suspensions and fines. But so Troy Vincent's nominated. Adrian Wilson, underrated player for the Cardinals back in the day, and then Darrell Woodson, another one who gets nominated every year but just doesn't get in. He was part of the Dallas Cowboy dynasty of the '90s.
Yeah.
So those are your DBs.
And coaches.
All right, and then for those special teams we have David Akers, former Niner and Eagle.
Yeah.
Gary Anderson, who he was a great kicker, but he cost the Vikings in '98. Jason Hanson of the Lions, John Casey of the Panthers, Sean Ledetta of the Giants, Shane Leckler of the Raiders, Adam Vinatieri, he probably the special teamer to get in,
He's definitely.
Josh Cribbs, and then Brian Mitchell. There are no, I don't see any coaches nominated.
Brian Mitchell actually probably should be in the Hall of Fame already too, but I don't see him getting in this year. But honestly, and these are the things that bother me. I know people love Adam Vinatieri, and I know special teams a big part. Not one of those special teamers deserves to get in the Hall of Fame over any other person that you name. Not one. And it doesn't. I don't care if you took their best kicker off that list, which is Vinatieri, and you took the worst skill position player out the rest of them. That skill position player deserves to be in the Hall of Fame over someone that plays 2-3 plays a game. Like it's just.
I agree with you, but I think Adam Vinatieri will be a first
Oh,
ballot.
I have him written down because I know
Yeah.
he's getting it for sure. So let's go over the ones and you tell me if you agree. We'll start
Okay.
right there. Vinatieri's getting it.
Yeah.
So is he counting out of one of the three or one of the five? How does that go? What would that is he
Well, let me see. Let me see. When did he retire? He's gonna be one of the five. He only retired in 2021.
all right?
So
So
he's recent.
my five would be Vinatieri, Larry Fitzgerald, for sure. Gotta be in there.
Drew Brees and Eli.
Drew Brees and Eli.
So that's four.
Yeah, no. And it might only one of them might get in, but I'll leave them both there just for namesake for now, right? And his rig is different. I mean, I could see. Let me just throw one out. So we'll go. Take Eli out of there. I feel like this seems more likely. I'm gonna go Drew Brees, Vinatieri, Fitz, Luke Kuechly, and Cam Chancellor for my five that retired within that time frame. I think those is probably the five best guys. The next three,
Those might be the five. Those might be the five best guys, but I disagree with you. I
no,
think at the line.
let me make sure you understand
Okay.
what I'm doing. I'm not telling you what they would pick. I'm telling you what I would do.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you
And so
those.
I was gonna say, out of the linebackers, the only one I could see actually getting in would be Terrell Suggs.
I think Luke Kuechly is the number one person to go out of that, and I won't put my reasoning, but I think Luke Kuechly is the one guy that's surefire Hall of Fame in there. They was talking about him first ballot Hall of Famer long before he retired, so I don't think he has no problem getting in.
Yeah, he retired because of too many concussions. The only reason why I say Suggs is because I think they're gonna, and I know this is what you think,
Yeah,
but I think the voters they're gonna factor in the Super Bowls that Suggs won. He won 2 Super Bowls.
yep. I
Even though
know.
the second one he got sitting on the bench, but he still has two Super Bowls.
Well, I once again I give you the guys I would put in, and then I'll give you what I think they'll do. Right, but the
Okay.
guys I would put in is Breeze, Fitz, Keekly, Cam Chancellor, and Vinatieri would be my five that have retired within whatever the time would be. Right, the ones I
So
would go.
yeah, like within the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. Now the next three, these are guys that obviously retired before then, and this is tough. Actually, you know what? Takeoff, because Saturday would be in the 5 years, right? I mean the five.
Let me see when he retired.
Yeah. Because I might gotta take off Cam Chancellor and put Jeff Saturday.
Jeff Saturday retired in 2012, so it's been a while.
So he'd be in the other three.
Yeah.
All right. So in the three that's been retired for a while, what I would do, Torrey Holt, Eddie George, and Jeff Saturday would be the three I would pick from the ones that have been retired for a while, right? Now, what I believe they would do, and then I want to hear both of your list of what you would do and what you think they would do. What I think they're gonna do, I think Drew Brees and Eli both get in. I don't think either one of them have trouble getting in. I then believe that they let Fitz get in. I still believe they let Luke Kuechly get in. And I believe Adam Vinatieri gets in. So Vinatieri, Kuechly, um, Fitz, Breeze, and Eli. The three that have been retired for a while that I believe they let in, I think would be Saturday, Eddie George, and when did Teddy Bruschi retire? Because I think it will either be him or Rodney Harrison for their third one.
Let's see. Teddy Bruschi retired in. Hold on, I'm trying to look it up. He retired in 2008.
Yeah, so I think that the older ones will go Eddie George, Jeff Saturday, and Teddy Bruschi. Could be Rodney Harrison, but I think it would probably be Teddy Bruschi. And then I do believe Jeff Saturday goes in on the other side. So I believe we see people from that Patriots and those Colts winning teams, Super Bowl
Yeah,
winning.
Ronnie Harrison also retired in 2008. They both retired the same year.
Yeah, I just have a funny feeling that we're gonna see some of those Patriots get in, some of those Colts get in, along with Bree. As far as what they're doing, Breeze, Eli, Fitz. I don't think we're gonna see. I think we're only gonna see one wide receiver get in this year. Only Fitzgerald from what they do.
Yeah, I agree. So for me, well, the way I would pick it is, I think for the modern people, I think it would be Drew Brees, Eli, maybe Philip Rivers, but I don't think he gets in. But Drew Brees and Eli for sure, because I think they're gonna get the Super Bowls.
Yeah,
And then for me, for running backs, I don't see any running back getting in. I do agree with you. Larry Fitzgerald gets in. I think for O lineman, well, no, let me backtrack. So for the five modern ones, Drew Brees, Eli, Larry Fitzgerald,
yeah.
Cam Chancellor, Terrell Suggs, and then
That's
for the three that have been retired for a long time, I can see them go with Teddy Bruschi. I agree with you.
yeah.
Eric Williams, and then Simeon Rice.
That's. I mean, that's who you think they're going with, or who you would go with.
No, that's who I would go with.
All right. Now,
Now, the way I think they will vote it is same three as you: Breeze, Manning, Fitzgerald for
yeah,
modern players, I do believe Cam Chancellor will get in as a modern player.
Gets in. I hope he gets in.
Yeah, I want to put Luke Kuechly in, but again, I went with Terrell Suggs, and I think they're gonna go with Terrell Suggs too because of the Super Bowls, and he won Defensive Player of the Year before.
Yeah,
So
I just
and
think
his numbers are better, but I think Kuechly you got to put an asterisk because he retired early because
yeah,
of concussions.
I think what it comes down to though, and this is, and I know it's not the more like right now, defensive end or outside linebacker is probably one of the top three most positions in football because most important position because you got to get to the quarterback, right? But I think for some reason when it gets to that Hall of Fame time, that top tier middle linebacker just gets the nod over them. I
Actually, no. I'm going to change it for as far as modern players.
yeah.
So I think so. Again, it's going to be Eli, Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Cam Chancellor. But I forgot James Harrison. He's played within. He's in that category too.
What
I
about
think they'll
Vinny?
put James Harrison in.
What about Vinny? What about Vinny now?
Yeah, that's right. I think Adam Vinatieri will get in.
This the part that
Damn.
pisses me off
Yeah.
because every guy we're debating over deserves it more than him, but
Yeah.
it is.
But I think he's gonna get in. So and he retired recently too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to take out James Harrison because I still think Eli and Brees get in. I don't think they're gonna take out any of the quarterbacks. And then I think Fitz gets in. I still think Cam Chancellor is hard not to put him in
Yeah.
first ballot. So I think he gets in, and then I think Vinatieri gets in, and then for the three that have waited a while, I think they'll put in Darren Woodson, especially since they just did that Dallas Cowboys documentary about the '90s dynasty,
Yeah.
and Darren Woodson was part of that. So I think they piggyback off that success of that documentary, put him in.
Yeah.
I can also see him putting Eric Williams in, another Cowboy great who's part of that dynasty, and then maybe see here. Oh, you know what? Another one I forgot too, Vince Wilfork.
Yeah, no. There's not enough room. There's so many people that deserve
Yeah, I'm trying to
it.
look here.
You want me to give
Yeah, I
the
think I think the third one, I think the third one for players who've been waiting for a while,
yeah.
they'll probably get in. They might go Robert Mathis. I think Robert Mathis will probably be the third one. So those are my eight.
It's I mean, that's those are all good picks. And I think honestly what they need to do so they can stop having dudes wait for so long is say, look it, on that whole list, how many people would you say is on there? 100 people?
Uh, well, the thing I'm looking at right now says 128.
Right, so
So out of
100.
128, you can only vote in eight of them.
Yeah. And by the time those eight get in, there'll be another 60 people eligible. You see the problem they're causing themselves? Let me help
Yeah,
them for a second. Here's the thing. Let's cut this in half. Why don't you just pull 75 people out of that 128, right? And just vote. If they get over 80% of the vote that they're a Hall of Famer, put them in. They don't need to be competing against nobody else. Just vote on everybody on the list. If they get 80%, let them go in the Hall of Fame. That way you can clear out a lot of this list. What does it cost you $1 billion to make a head bust? Like, come on, pause, actually. But you get what I'm saying. Like, all you're doing
yeah,
is making a head for them and throwing it on a statue. So, throwing it on a mantle, I should say. So, I say they need to let in more people because if they voted for all 128 people, maybe 30 of them would get 80% of the votes, maybe 50 of them, right? But it will be a way faster process and you can make room for other people jumping in line. It's like there's people getting in line that are Hall of Famers but won't get that nod till they're dead. It's disturbing.
yeah. Because like you said, every year they add more to the list
Yeah.
because more people are eligible. So you just have there's a backdrop a backdrop.
Yeah.
I think that's what hurts a lot of these players too, and why they gotta wait so long.
Yeah.
Like we're looking at the list and it's like, how is it that Randall Cunningham's not in? How
Yeah.
is it that Steve McNair's not in? No, Ricky Waters.
How Simeon Rice, Ricky Waters, Herman Moore, um,
Yeah, Rory Dunn, Mike Allstott.
like these are these dudes. Some of these dudes you're naming off. I'm thinking like, how the hell are they not in already? And it's because not because they're not worthy, it's because someone else popped up like a Larry Fitzgerald that has to go first ballot. So now for someone like Holt or Wayne, you're waiting up, you still waiting because the one wide receiver spot this year, it gotta go to Fitzgerald. And it's silly. You know what I'm saying? At least let 3 to 5 people from each position in. You know what I'm saying? Even it out or something.
Yeah, and even with the wide receivers, like we're focused on Holton Wayne. I mean, we can also make a case for Steve Smith,
They, bro,
a guy. I mean, the guy that dominate the way he did. He was only like 5'8".
yeah,
You
you could,
know, I mean, you talk about the Patriots, Wes Welker.
bro. There's a
You know,
bunch of
you earlier you mentioned Jimmy Smith.
yeah,
I mean,
Jimmy
you can make a case for
Smith,
Chad Johnson.
bro. Like you said, Ocho. I think every single one of those guys deserves to be in there. Unfortunately, they're not. The Hall of Fame isn't giving themselves enough time to equitably, like, properly get all these people in there. Is the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like they need to find a way to maybe get half a list in there so they don't have so many people waiting. Like if you have 15 people, just say figuratively speaking, you have 30 people being added every year, you got to at least have 30 people going out the other side. That's the only way the numbers are going to work. So whatever's the amount of people that are eligible next year should be the amount of people you're eligible to put into the draft. You see what I'm saying? So that
Yeah,
way, sometimes you have 17 first ballot Hall of Famers, just say figuratively speaking. Bang, put them all in. What are we waiting for? Now, instead of pushing a first ballot Hall of Famer to next year because you're capped, it doesn't make no sense. Like, what is the cap? You're not paying nobody.
yeah, and it's like eight. I don't know. To me, eight just doesn't sound enough. Like you're giving me a list of 128 names, and out of those 128, I gotta cut it down to eight.
Yeah, it's crazy. The
That, that's,
numbers
that's
ain't
asking a
matching.
lot.
The numbers ain't adding up. Imagine
No,
that was how many people you had to cut before the season started, from 128 to 8.
yeah.
Like, Jesus. I'm saying I don't know about that, bro. But what other topics we got going on before we get up out of here?
Nah, that was it. I just saw the Hall of Fame list yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't know, can't remember when they released it.
Yes,
So I
sir.
thought it'd be interesting to get your opinion on it. We could talk about it.
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be a good Hall of Fame class. Honestly, they got the names to make this one of the best Hall of Fame classes ever. I just
Yeah,
little
unfortunately, they just got to pick. They have to cut it down to eight.
Yeah, and it's more than 8 that I can see that deserve to get in there. Because I mean, you want to get some of them older guys in there, but you can't skip on guys like Breeze and Fitz and Witten. I mean, he's probably one of the top 10 best tight ends to ever play. So he probably does deserve a ring for first ballot, at least numbers wise. Even if you said top 20 or 25, if he's a top 25 tight end to ever play the game, that's probably like first ballot Hall of Fame to me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, I agree with you. I just think though, out of since they can only pick five players that retired
Oh, it's pretty
recently,
hot. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be hard. So that's why I said I don't see him getting in first ballot. Because because like who you taking off? Like we all agree it's
Yes,
gonna
sir.
be Fitz most definitely, Drew Brees,
Yeah.
Eli, and then
And it's like,
Vinatieri.
yeah, just
So
one
it's like
spot.
yeah, one spot. Like who you taking off? And me personally, I still think Cam Chancellor had more of an impact as a safety than Jason Witten did as a tight end. So that's why me personally, I think they'll go with Cam Chancellor.
I think he did too.
Even though Cam Chancellor's teammate Earl Thomas is on that list too. We didn't even talk about him.
I just have a funny feeling that Kuechly's gonna get the he's gonna be the guy. Like, is that something to do? That linebacker position always gets it, bro. Like,
Yeah, but see, for me though, I think if you're gonna choose a linebacker, I think they're gonna go with James Harrison, only because the stats are better. Granted, he did play longer,
but I
but
think
then he also played for one of the one of the top franchises in the NFL, the Steelers, the historic franchise.
I
That might get him in too.
I just think the thing is this: Luke Kuechly's first 9 years in the league, numbers. It's one of those things where these guys' 9 years don't match up to his 9 years. So like the 5 6 years you got to pad stats, I don't think it's gonna outweigh what he did. He played for a bad team that could count against him. But go look at his career stats and compare it to some of these dudes' careers. He's the guy was a machine. He should have just ran from Carolina.
Well, okay, so Luke Kuechly only played 8 years.
Yeah, so
Do you
that's
think? Do you think? Do you think that hurts him that he didn't play that long?
I think with some guys it hurts them, some guys it helps them. I think 8 years at the level he played at, I don't think it's gonna hurt him at all. It would probably help him. I think the longer he played could have helped him fall off. You know what I'm saying? Like you just seen him at the top of his game for his whole career. It's like with Aaron Donald. Do you think the 10 years is gonna hurt him when it's time for Hall of Fame?
No, but I think most player. I mean, I think most players in the Hall play like 10 years. But I think if you play less than 10 years, sometimes they use that against you. Like I know for Terrell Davis, the reason why it took him so long to get into the Hall of Fame is because they kept using the fact that he only played 7 years. He didn't play that long, even though in those 7 years,
Yeah,
he had Hall of Fame numbers.
I want to
So
say
sometimes they use that against you.
I want to say that's just because he was filth in a running back market that had too many guys coming out that was just better than him. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go and look at all the running backs that was going into the Hall of Fame while he was waiting, bro, you had to wait your turn. Even the guys better than you waited their turn. You know, so
Yeah, because I mean, you had just in his generation, you had Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas.
yeah, like I just think out of those linebackers that you read, I don't think they're obviously not all getting in this year, but I think Briggs, Brewski, Kuechly, Suggs, all these guys they don't gotta wait long to get into the NFL.
No, they shouldn't, but unfortunately they do because they have a limit on how many they can get in. But
But I think
and I agree with you. I just want to say I agree with you on Keekly. I just think the voters are going to favor Harrison because of the team that he played for, the Steelers.
could be true, but I just look at it like this: is what I meant with the linebackers. Looking at all the wide receivers and running backs, they're gonna be waiting longer than this group of linebackers. Like this group of linebackers, a lot of these guys are gonna get in there. And Cam will get in, Rodney Harrison will get in, like Wayne Holt and some of these guys, unfortunately, and a lot of those running backs you read off earlier, right? These guys are gonna be waiting forever, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like there might be one wide receiver and one running back going in for the next 7 years. So really think about that. I mean, like by the time some of those guys get in, there'll be 30 more running backs in that are probably better than them.
The only thing that helps with the running backs, especially the modern day running backs like Beast Mode and Frank Gore, is that a lot of their numbers.
Yeah.
I think the modern day running backs that are playing right now, it's going to be hard for them to touch because teams don't really run the ball as much as they did even 10 years ago when those guys were playing. So I think that can help them because you look at running backs that are retiring now. Who in the league right now you're going to put in the Hall of Fame before you put in Beast Mode or Chris Johnson or even Frank Gore?
I gotta see. I don't think like Frank Gore. I don't know. Like I said, some of these guys.
Why I think wide receiver I think it'd be tougher to get in because there's gonna be
Oh
more and
yeah,
more
it's gonna
great
be
wide
studs.
receivers coming up.
It's gonna be studs. With the running back groups, I guess I would have to look fully, but I mean, I just keep it simple. I will put Todd Gurley over some of those guys, and he had like a 5 year career. But for impact, he probably is more Hall of Fame worthy than some dudes on that list. And I'm not saying he's going to make it over a lot of those guys or even get close to making the Hall of Fame, because I don't think he will probably in this lifetime. But that's my point. I think a lot of these guys that get nominated for the next 80 years, I don't think that they're getting in anytime soon.
Yeah, and then another one too that got nominated, Steven Jackson. I think he should get in because he put up Hall of Fame numbers, but I don't think he will get in because I do think they're gonna use the fact that he never made the playoffs in his career. And
Yeah,
so while these other running backs on the list, and you got running backs coming that are not even eligible yet, they've at least had moments in the playoffs.
yeah.
And so even though it wasn't his fault, but they just played on bad teams his whole career. But I think they might use that against him as why he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame, while some of these other running backs will get into the Hall of Fame.
There's also the harsh reality. The way reading off those rules, it sounds like a running back doesn't have to make it in, which is the problem. So
Yeah.
So like if there was one from every skill group, it would be a little bit more easier to dissect. But I don't see any running back on that list that really right now needs to be in the Hall of Fame. I could see
See, that's
like
not just makes sense. Oh, my bad. Sorry to cut you off. That's not that makes sense about the voting. Is that you have 11 positions, but only 8 can get in. That's
yeah,
not
that's
even one per position.
and then if you put a coach or a special team, it takes from that. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. That don't sit right with me. I think that they all these rule changes they need to do or they're trying to do, I think fixing the fucking pardon my language, fixing the Hall of Fame and how you do the amount of people you could bring in. This should be something y'all need to fix because it's pretty bad. Like I just confusing, don't understand it. You got first ballot Hall of Famers waiting for no reason. You got people that was amazing players waiting for 40 years. You got people that are already dead, still waiting to get in the Hall of Fame. It's so that I don't like none of that stuff. I hope they fix that, but I do. I'm just out of everything that goes on in this Hall of Fame. I'm just praying that Hope gets in. I really don't care about much else about it, honestly. I don't see it happening, but that's the only real thing that I'm hoping to happen this year is for Holt to get out.
Yeah, it's sad to say that now that I know the rules and the criteria, Hope might be one of those guys that he might not get in until he's like 70 something.
Yeah,
But they might do him like they did Margot, just wait until he gets like sick. It's like, okay, he's sick, he might die in a year or two.
yeah, and
Let's
that's
go ahead and put him in.
and this is why that shit's stupid. Like they need to just be able to put more people in. I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense to me to have complete power to do whatever they want. You change things like people are changing draws nowadays. So I don't see why you can't just change that. I might have to send an email, see how far I can get with this. But with that being said, let them know where to see us and let's get ready for a great day of football in the morning.
Yeah, so you can follow us. Our handles are at the bottom of the screen at Mob Squad 508, at Expected Ant, that's for Twitter and IG, and also to our YouTube. Like and subscribe at the Mike and Ant Sports Show. You can also follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker. And and like Mike said last time, if there's any other platforms that you think we should be on, just let us know, hit us up, and we can see if we can get on there. Also, to the QR code for Doobie Energy, you can get 10% off. And Mike, yeah, is there anything else you want to add in there?
Nope, that code is down there too, Mob Squad 508. Same thing as my handle. We'll give them 10% off. We'll also have a new Prince Nana discount code coming that'll be up soon. And either one of those send something back to our podcast, which gives us, the ability to see you more often. But only other thing I want to add in there is let's get ready for a good day of football and go Rams.
Let's go.
Talk to you
Let's beat the
tomorrow,
tomb.
bro.
Let's beat Tomb Raider in her cult.
for for real. Let's take out Lara Croft and the Tomb Raider, man. We leaving with the whole horse and the shoe. We don't just want the coat off the foot. We taking the whole horse. We out of here.
Oh, horse.
Yeah, but bro, talk to you in the morning. Let's enjoy these
All
games.
right, man. Take care.
You too.
All right.
Oh shit, my mouse died. Hold on, we got a couple more minutes. I got it right
All
there.
right. Well, my laptop's about to die. I need to plug it in.
Don't worry, you good, bro. I got it. Talk at the end of it.